The victors celebrate and the losers thirst for revenge. What better time to review the excitement and human drama that made the 1980 season a landmark in league history. It was a controversial year with Alex Jesselenko and George Harris walking out on Carlton, the premiership team of 1979. There was Phil Carman's clash with the boundary umpire and his subsequent 20-week suspension. There were farewells. Mike Patterson's sad departure from St Kilda, Carl Ditterich's fiery farewell at the MCG, and Ron Barassi's parting from his beloved ROOS. It was a year of record breakers. Footscray's Kelvin Templeton became the first forward to win the Brownlow, and young Tiger Michael Roach kicked the ton and a new club high for Richmond. Attendances reached a new all-time high, and the football-hungry crowds were treated to a feast of football. It truly was a vintage year. Let's sit back now and enjoy the best of it.
On March the 29th, umpire Bill Deller bounced the ball at Princes Park to begin the 1980 season. It was the 1979 Grand Final replay with a difference. Percy Jones was coaching the Blues, but the result was to remain the same. And Wayne Johnston, Carlton's 1979 Premiership hero, took up where he left off against Collingwood 6 months earlier, booting 7 magnificent goals in the Blues' 38-point victory.
Got that one out. There's a goal coming up for Carlton. No kick by Johnston. It's full points. Carlton go further ahead.
See McCormick kicked that right into him, that time. Off the top of the pack, there's a go for goal by Johnson again. That's goal number 4. Ball dropped that time, and Ireland couldn't get it out. Now there's a shot for goal by Johnson. He's put his 6 goals to, I'd say.
All clear.
All clear. That's Johnson, number 6.
It's a half-forward flag. Here's Jesselenko.
Meanwhile, Alex Jesselenko, the man who took Carlton to that September glory, was basking in a different type of adoration at VFL Park as he made his debut with the Saints against Melbourne.
Player set the zone. Kick by Jesselenko. Goal.
Of the batch of new recruits to make their debut, none was more impressive than South Australian John Roberts, who made his first match-winning contribution against Geelong at Kardinia Park. When the former Woodville champion marked on the siren, South trailed by 3 points and the crowd of youngsters rushed onto the ground. Intense pressure VFL style, and South found that in Roberts, they had found a forward who could win a match off his own boot. It took Collingwood exactly 7 days to bounce back onto the winning list. At Arden Street, it was on before the siren sounded to start the match. Blight and Picken, Shaw and Gregg. But basically a rough and tough encounter between the 1977 grand finalists, North and Collingwood. And this time the Magpies came out 5 points up.
Look at that Magro go in. Does he go in hard? And he's got the mark. Got a nasty one from Gregg that time, but I don't think the Brownlow medalist meant it.
At the MCG, Phil Carman lined up with Essendon against Richmond. It was his third change of Guernsey in 18 months. And this day, fabulous Phil made his presence felt. Essendon were in magnificent touch in a topsy-turvy clash.
Day screws the ball over the shoulder. It's a beautiful looking kick from Day. It's playing tricks out there. Another mistake there by Dunn. Ball comes to Carman, a goal coming up. Lee in front. Jess kicked it in mid-air, picked up by Marsh. Snap forward, a goal up by right underneath. In the coast, full points. Toward Madden, couldn't take the mark. Well roved by Carman. Carman caught in possession and will pay the penalty. Mark, it comes through. Walling's trying to get a ball. He's caught one, tripped knocked on by Watson. Great players. It's Carman. Gives it across to DOUL. And DOUL goes through for his third goal. The kick to be taken by Van der Haar.
With goals like this from centre-half forward Paul Van der Haar, well inside the centre square, the Bombers were set to steal the points in time on.
What a kick! He has kicked that ball, the proverbial ball. Down towards the goal line. Crow, Carman coming across. It's back with Carman. It's an outshot! It's a goal! Madden tries to get it out. He does so to Barry Day. Barry Day straightens up, goes goalward. Next Crow's there, and Crow takes the mark. 3 metres out from goal. He's kicked 1 goal, and now he has a chance to win the game for Essendon. The siren has sounded. Crow should kick this goal, and that he does, and Essendon have won the game at the MCG.
On him.
At Moorabbin, St Kilda captain Gary Sidebottom was the centre of one of the ugliest incidents of the year.
Oh, come off it. That is
It was a fair bump.
what do you think?
Yeah, fair bump for mine.
Well, I don't know about this 53.
Somebody's thrown a can out and hit Sidebottom on the head with a beer can. That's lovely, that is. That is beautiful.
After 2 losses, St Kilda President Lindsay Fox ruthlessly sacked coach Mike Patterson, and it wasn't hard to guess his replacement.
Nobody likes defeat, and nobody at St Kilda will want to accept defeat from here on in.
Did you ask Mike Patterson for his resignation this morning?
Yes, I spoke to Mike this morning, and Mike was quite prepared to resign in the interests of St Kilda Football Club.
Well, you said before he made mistakes. Were those mistakes simply losing?
There's no question about it. We can't afford to lose. We're trying to get a new breed of people at St Kilda that have a tremendously strong desire to win.
And the new coach of St Kilda, Alex Jesaulenko. Alex, you've been the centre of two of the biggest football upsets in many years. Have you got to rekindle enthusiasm for football with this latest appointment?
Well, I certainly have. It came sooner than expected, Stephen. I expected to stay in football, play football, at least for this year, maybe next year, and kind of wait around for a coaching position to come along.
Do you feel a bit sorry for Mike Patterson? You've been through the same sort of thing just a brief while ago.
Yes, but the past is the past, Stephen, and you know, I learned from what's happened in the past.
Smith is on the bench.
With Jezza in charge, St Kilda produced one of its most valiant performances in years against the mighty Tigers at the MCG. Veterans like Jezza and the much-vaunted Gary Sidebottom and youngsters like Dean Herbert enabled St Kilda to go into the last quarter with a 6-point lead.
Well, for mine, he was through.
Well, he can't take the mark. Comes to Bromberg. Can't get his kick in. Herbert off the ground. There's little Roberts going in after it. Oh, cleverly on the left foot. Hooks towards the goals. And I'd say he's put it through.
The free kick is Robert MUIR. Over there towards Saru. Saru, a short pass. Oh, not a good one, but it lacks a fortune. Oh, he could almost trapped it there. Burns picked up now by Green. Oh, here's a chance now for Duper-Woozle. He's out on the half-forward flank. He's got Barker in here as well. Here's Barker's chance now to mark the goal. It's at half-forward. He does that.
Dunn knocks it towards the boundary line. Oh, good play by Herbert as he grabs that ball. Kicks it towards the square. Here's a chance for St Kilda. Strapped by O'Day. He's put it through. Comes to Monteith. Handballs over the top of the pack. Here comes Bartlett off the ground.
Beautiful.
It's through.
He'll have a step for goal. Swings it across looking for Bartlett. There's a goal. Beautiful.
Out come it's all St Kilda. And a beautiful mark. Oh, bad players. Green played on. Oh, lucky. Here's a chance for Richmond. The ball. It's a goal. It's a goal. Oh, another goal to Bartlett off the ground. Francis Burke. He'll go back for the long kick. A torpedo putt.
With scores level, Francis Burke had the opportunity to put Richmond in front with seconds to go.
Fly in the pack, the hands go up, the ball
At Princes Park, the much-travelled Craig Davis was in magnificent touch against Hawthorn. The former Carlton and North forward booted 8 for the Magpies, but it wasn't enough to save Collingwood from an 11-point loss.
Davis kicks his 6th goal. So too was Picken on the forward line. The hand pass from Picken finds Barham. Barham will give it across to Craig Davis, and Davis brings up goal number 8. Ball by Collingwood as we see Alan Goad.
The star of the day for Hawthorn was Alan Goad, who, although named in the centre, was to be the Hawks' most effective goal scorer with 4.
Across to Goad. Goad straightens up and makes no mistake as he brings up his 2nd goal. Up by Goss, who handballs across to Goad, and Goad brings up his 3rd goal. Stewart's kick up to centre half forward. Goad takes it, runs in from centre half forward, lines it up. Goal umpire underneath.
By Brown. The ball comes down to Cloak. He's running around.
Richmond's key forwards David Cloak and Michael Roach were right on target when eventual grand finalists Collingwood and Richmond had their first meeting of the year at Victoria Park. Both were to kick 5 goals.
Point of the skipper Monteith. Monteith up towards the full forward zone. Here's a chance for Roach to make it goal number 5. Shoots the goal, and that's just what he's done. 5 goals to Michael Roach as the siren goes to...
They've got to get the young people off the ground. Band with the siren hasn't sounded yet.
It was a tough, spiteful match, but the ending left all of the 29,000 spectators up in the air.
There's someone blowing a horn down here. I think that's the thing that misled them, is the siren and the good mark taken
here. They're coming on again.
It's that bloke blowing the horn again. The game's still not over. That's the 2nd time they've done it.
Oh, this is lunacy.
This is absolutely crazy. The 2nd. There's the siren.
At Moorabbin, Jez's Saints weren't worried about false alarms. They recorded their first win of the season against Essendon. But the match was to have far-reaching consequences when the VFL tribunal met the following Monday night.
The quick snap from Barker's through. Saru got the knock. It's picked up by Barker. It goes goalwards and it's 4 points. Barker's 2nd goal. First win for the season. A 3-point win as we see a very excited Alex Jesaulenko, Stone and Green.
It was in this match against St Kilda that the highly volatile Phil Carman clashed with boundary umpire Graham Carberry.
Carman was reported in this incident for headbutting and striking boundary umpire Carberry, and was also reported for striking St Kilda skipper Gary Sidebottom. Carman was found guilty of striking Sidebottom and headbutting Carberry and was suspended for 20 matches, the heaviest penalty since the war.
Well, I'll be probably away from the club for a week and just to have a bit of time off, and then I'll be back to commence training.
Phil, thinking back on it, have you any regrets about the whole incident?
Oh, a lot of regrets, yeah. I actually feel very concerned for the club, and particularly for Barry Davis, for the faith that he put in me. You know, he put in a lot of work to get me to the club, and I just feel as though I've let him down personally, and also letting the club down.
At the time you were paying it back, you were playing probably the best football for a long time.
I think so, and it's due mainly to Barry's contribution. You know, he was able to instill a little bit of confidence back in myself, and teaching me how to play the ruck rover role, and I was very, very happy.
Phil, you've always maintained peak physical fitness. Will you keep training just with the finals in view?
You know, I think now I'll be... I didn't know last night what I'd do. I didn't know whether I'd give it away or not, but I think it's probably making me a little bit more determined to retain my fitness and hopefully play some sort of game towards the end of the year.
When did the enormity of the suspension hit you, this morning or last night when you're driving home to Lilydale?
Look, I don't know whether it's really hit me yet. You know, I just know that I'm not playing Saturday, and it's going to be some time before I do.
On Anzac Day, Richmond unleashed a barrage of goals against the unsuspecting Lions to set a new club record. The Tigers, with play like this, kicked 11 goals in the last quarter and 29 goals, 25 behinds, 199 points for the match to blitz the hapless Fitzroy by 118 points. 11 different players goaled for the Tigers, with Barry Rowlings taking individual honours with 6.
Won't be the easiest of shots he's ever looked at, and Roach is going for his third goal. And when you're hot, you're hot. They'll try and make amends for that last shot. Wasn't much better. Rawlings will have the shot for goal. He puts it on its way and right through the centre. Rains it is. Will have the shot at goal. I feel no. A hand pass over. Comes to Waitman. Waitman back again. And it's Bartlett will snap from the forward pocket area and put it on its way.
When Robert Flower, Melbourne's elegant winger, is in top flight, there is little an opposing side can do but to sit back and appreciate it. Against Carlton at the VFL Park, the Demons lost by 29 points, but not before witnessing some great solo performances from their champion player.
To attack for one of the rear times so far in this quarter. Walters cleverly around his opponent Mackay, fires at the goals. That's a beautiful kick coming around, but it won't be quite far enough. Croswell tries to saunter it through. He's got it. And has got it. And Vanella underneath it, knocked away by Brown. Johnston snaps for goal for Carlton. That's going very close. That's a miraculous shot, hit the post. Now it's a goal. I thought it bounced just at the bottom. What a goal. That's his third goal. And I would like to see where that bounced to get on the hands of it.
Collingwood started the season slowly and struggled against a dogged Essendon side at Windy Hill. The Magpies trailed at three-quarter time in a tough, bruising encounter, but were to fall in by 4 points.
Carlton now gets around to his kicking foot. He was allowed to have plenty of time to shoot a goal. Essendon 9-15-69.
And Brownlow medalist Peter Moore had his own farewell for the Essendon crowd. Carlton's winning streak ended at 5 when the Blues met North at Arden Street, or as the media delighted in billing it, the clash between master coach Barassi and his young pupil Percy. For North, the goals just kept piling up.
It's in front, punched away by DOUL, but Tanner there again, a snapshot for goal. Doesn't quite make the distance, it's coming around, is it coming around enough? It is! Another goal! By God, that was like a boomerang.
And there's Marker Reeves, easy as you like, and he breaks away. No Carlton player is chasing him. Gives it over towards Tanner, goal.
That was good play on the part of Reeves.
That's Murray opposing Roach.
At VFL Park, Richmond defeated Geelong in the first of 3 great meetings for 1980. And the old-timer Kevin Bartlett gave the Cats a preview of things to come with play like this.
Bartlett goes goal, and he hand passes on to Wiley. Wiley will be looking for Roach on this occasion. He kicks up in the general direction of the full forward zone. It could have been a free kick against Murray to Roach, but it doesn't matter. Mervyn Kane.
Cats coach Billy Goggin gambled and lost when he played Richard Murray on the Tigers' forward sensation Michael Roach. Roach kicked 4 before Goggin moved Gary Malaki back to fullback.
The top of the pack. Oops, Sarah tried to ride the bump, got one too high, played on very quickly to get the ball up to Roach. Murray playing Roach from the back, he got no hope of beating him from there. Murray's got his hands full down there, Bob.
That he has, Jack. But he obviously has played a couple of good games for Geelong, so Bill Goggin showing a lot of faith in Murray, and obviously thinking that Malarkey wasn't tall enough. The kick from Roach. Fans behind indicate that's another goal. Kevin Bartlett.
We were reminded that a good little man will occasionally beat a good big man.
Outreached there by Blake, and Blake, thinking likewise, made no attempt to punch it, but
Looking for Lee opposed to Blake. Lee got up high. Should have been played that one, I thought, but the umpire said no. He breaks away. That's a lot of pace being shown by the big man. There was a chance there for Hawkins to get moving, but he lost possession to Big Lee again. Takes one bounce and sprints away.
Players setting themselves over.
And a good big man can beat everyone.
Got Rene KINK all by himself.
And talking of big men, the incredible Hulk Rene KINK went on a goal-kicking spurge against St Kilda, kicking 7 beauties. It was to be Rene's day, but they were to be few and far between in 1980 for him.
There's a beautiful shot for goal.
Long, right down the woods where KINK sets himself for the mark, 30 metres out from goal, and has taken this mark.
Jesselinko's down on the back line, Peter.
There it is. He's going after it. Oh, heavy flash there as a hand pass comes out to KINK. He'll run into the open goal, stabs that ball, and he's put it through.
He's kicking, drifting off just a little bit. KINK takes a beautiful mark, Rene KINK. So this will be definitely goal number 6.
Smothering that ball. Their side bottom has been quiet today. Comes to Banks. Banks fires at the goals. KINK could mark this right in front, and he's done it. Rene KINK, what's he kicked, Doug? 6. And he'll be firing for his 7th. Tremendous game by KINK, in a will-o'-the-wisp, as he casually drops that one through for his 7th.
Co-tenants Hawthorn and Carlton met in probably the craziest match of the season, with Hawthorn winning by 2 points. But only after the tangle-footed Blues had kicked 14 straight behinds in the last quarter.
Thought this match would be on. The tension's been terrific. You can really sense it up here, and you can cut it with a knife.
It was a tough match, as Jeff Ablett found out from teammate John Kennedy.
Plenty of distance in his kick.
Robert DiPier Domenico and Karen Sheldon came to terms. There were great individual performances, like this one from Michael Young.
Matthews gets clear of Austin.
And from evergreen Lee Matthews.
Snaps for goal. That's a great goal, Lee Matthews.
What a beautiful bit of play that was. To see the cool, calm and collected.
3 players there. That was Sheldon. Here's a goal, McClure.
And before they lost their kicking boots, the Blues peppered the goals.
Grabbed by Sheldon, the snap for goal. It's through and back in business.
He tries to get it away from Manjels, one of Carlton's best players. Oh, this guy's shining this quarter. This will be a goal. No, he's missed again, or has he? No, he hasn't. They're aligned. Buckley, he'll go from there. A long kick by Jimmy Buckley is just that, a goal.
A minute ago, taps it down one-handed. He's got 3 to contend with. Grabbed off the boot of McClure by Sheldon. The snap for goal. It's good. It's right through the middle.
There's another goal. They'll be in front here. That's a beautiful kick. Look at the goal umpire. Goal.
Carlton. Look at incidentally, look at Percy Jones, the Carlton captain. He guided that one through. He's between the goal post with the goal umpire that time.
Long kick up the full forward. Jones and has marked.
But this vital point to Warren Jones summed up the afternoon. The Tigers continued their assault on the record books, kicking a new club high of 27 goals, 18 behinds, 180 points to record a 110-point win over Royce Hart's Bulldogs. And Michael Roach was right on target with 11.
Michael Roach. Carlton's over the back, but it comes over to Bartlett. Oh, beautiful play by Bartlett, getting across to Waitman. A short pass over here, looking for and finding Roach.
There's an 80-metre goal down to Michael Roach once again. And Roach over the back of 40. Took a beautifully judged mark.
Cloak up towards Roach. Roach sets himself and takes a beautiful mark.
He deserves every one of them too, Doug, because he's given away about 4.
That's right. If he kicks this, I'd say he'd be responsible for about 15 or 16 goals. Very, very close. The umpire says yes. Goal to Michael Roach. Goal number 11.
Only 17,000 people were at Arden Street to see North and South slug it out, and it seemed that Barassi's ROOS were on the receiving end.
He's just the right height to cop those.
For him, 3 South Melbourne players there. Ooh, North player Podolzak went down.
The mark to Lord, and he goes down from Jackson. He flies, goes for the mark, and he's just about got it in the play. Podolzak caught on that time.
free kick, none was there. It comes out to Roberts again in front of...
Once again, crack import John Roberts was in the thick of things, kicking 7 goals. But even his fine individual effort wasn't enough to stop the Roos holding on to the match by 3 points.
Darwin has put it through. Long kick. There's Roberts again. Great mark. Great mark.
Once again he flies. He's got it.
Great mark.
Oh, what a beautiful mark. Little Darryl Schimmelbush.
For inspiration, North had to look no further than lion-hearted rover Darryl Schimmelbush.
Half-forward on a hand pass to BRIEDIS. In a bit of trouble. Back to McCann. He slips. McCann taps it out to Schimmelbush again. Pressure football as he fires for the goals. And he may have put this through. He has. Goal number 2. The little champ got it through. The little fella full of courage that time.
There might be a 13-year age gap, but Kevin Bartlett and Dale Waitman had plenty in common when they tore the heart out of Carlton at the MCG. Bartlett kicked 7, Waitman 2, and the goal umpires were to be flat out all day.
It's swinging back into the goal square. Cloak's there. Punch down on Waitman. Waitman will have slapped the ball goalward. The hand pass out, but it goes to Cloak, and Bartlett will run into the open goal and bring up his 3rd goal. And he done. Bartlett will put this one right in the square or very close to it. Up toward Roach and Austin again. Could nearly bounce through.
Indeed, they were flat out in more ways than one.
We don't know what that is. The umpire goes down here. Is it a goal? What is it? Yes, it's a goal. Well, grabbed by Tempin, it goes goalward, and hits the post. And he's down again, that umpire. He's having a shocking day. That's the 2nd time it's gone down.
Should be able to pick this ball
For Collingwood and Fitzroy, things couldn't have been closer. Collingwood trailed by 9 points at the last change, but were to overcome that deficit and draw a thriller at the Junction Oval.
There's Beecroft, can't take the mark. Quinlan's over the back, a step for goal, he's got it. Up the goals, he can give it across with a long hand pass. Easy as you like. Running in his throat, gets the goal. Chance for Quinlan now, he's caught with the ball. Long hand pass, good play, beautiful play. Up to Wilson, Wilson will line up the goals from 50 metres out. There it is, magnificent play.
When North Melbourne and Hawthorn collided head-on at VFL Park, 34,000 people saw the VFL's most fierce rivals of the 70s do battle yet again. This time the honours were to go to North, but only by 5 points.
The full forward position, Reeves on his own, should have taken that mark, but he'll kick a goal anyway. Right matter, North Melbourne leading
this knockout. Well, neither got control this time. There's Goss going after the line, a snap for goal. Not a bad sort of a kick either. I think he's put it through. What a beautiful shot. Trying to have a shot at the goals. Up towards Dempsey, flies off his hands. Going after it now is Podolzak. Already kicked 1 goal. Snap for the goals. It's another one. Not a bad sort of a shot either. It's a goal. What a magnificent shot by Podolzak. The goal. A very effective play on the Saturday for Hawthorn. He's clear and a chance now to send them deep into attack. No one within queuing as he goes around that half-forward line. Over the half-forward line. A running shot towards the goals. Will it make the death? Not a bad sort of a kick. He's kicked the goal.
on the half-back flank, and a chance down there for Keith Gregg to pick the ball up. Scoots it out to Tanner. Podolzak, goal number 4. Now he gives it to Darryl Schimmelbush. It will be North Melbourne's third for the quarter. No doubt about it.
Can he mark? He's going out. He's got a hand to a snap for goal. It's a goal! That great skipper for Hawthorn. There he flies, couldn't hold the mark. Goss in trouble. A bad hand pass, a mistake to Bond, and Bond's put it through for a goal.
The winning goal.
Oh, how stiff can you be?
Yes, she is. She's from Vermont.
Football took on a feminine and long overdue touch.
She's the first girl to ever umpire a Big M Little League match, and when she takes charge of this match here this afternoon. As we mentioned, she is 16. She's been umpiring for 3 years, and as you said, Lou, she's the daughter of former reserve grade field and goal umpire Ray Fisher.
Himself, it's over the back of the pack.
And
though.
Richmond
Gordon,
kept piling on the goals. Melbourne was another team to feel the brunt of the Tigers' multi-pronged attack. The mighty Richmond forwards, led by skipper Bruce Monteith with 8 goals, were to amass 29 goals, 21 behinds, 195 points, to thrash Melbourne by 93 points.
A goal! It's it long down towards Bartlett, over the back of the pack to Wiley. Wiley will run into the open goal, swings it back, through the centre it goes, and another goal to Richmond. And look, absolutely flabbergasted. Look at Lee once again, down to Wiley, towards Bartlett, overrunning the ball, and in comes The hand pass, over it comes, into Michael Roach, into the open goal from Rolling.
Afternoon here at Victoria Park. The bounce has not yet been effective.
At Victoria Park, Collingwood gave a preview of the preliminary final outcome when they defeated Geelong by 5 goals. And Rene KINK was at the forefront.
KINK's there, he trap it into the goal square, straightens up and puts it right through the centre to bring up his second goal. Coming out, breaking away from Malaki, couldn't take the mark. Oh, hand pass from Davis into Ward Hummel and pops it through for 3. His third goal.
Nearly 62,000 people saw Northern Richmond fight out a thriller at the MCG on May the 31st.
What a beautiful goal that was. What a magnificent goal.
Half-forward position, the big arms of Clout go up, get it down towards Lee, playing the Rovers game, long kick by Lee, looks like a goal, what a magnificent kick.
As he drives it up there towards Roach and Sutton. Roach at the back got a chance to score.
Once again, it was to be the goal-kicking prowess of spearhead Michael Roach, who kicked 7, that enabled the Tigers to strengthen their hold on the top of the ladder.
Coming through was Evans, tackled too high.
When you throw a handful of hawks among the Swans, feathers are certain to fly, and they did just that at the lakeside ground. In the midst of things were heavyweights and incidentally rival skippers Don Scott and Barry Round.
Goals to punch up in the middle with Round and Scott. And South trying to get forward again.
Smith screws the ball back, but it's Teasdale that comes across. Play on because South Melbourne is streaming goalward as Michael Wright lines up from the forward pocket, has a chance to have the bounce run right into goal.
South were to show a clean pair of heels and give Hawthorn an 87-point hiding. One of the worst defeats inflicted on the Hawks in a decade.
From Evans, then Shepherd's for Browning. Browning comes through, a hand pass back to Teasdale. Teasdale gives it to Morrison. Morrison goes wide to Browning. South Melbourne going forward as Browning looks down there for John Roberts. It bounces, it's trapped truly. He turns around and goal. A beautiful piece of football. Half forward, Roberts up before acceptance is grabbed by Round. He gives it to Paul Morwood. And Morwood's kicked out by Hawthorn, taken by Moore. Ricky Quaid comes in, gives the hand pass out to Morrison. Morrison on to Tony Morwood. From centre half forward again, Morwood kicks truly. Stephen Wright plays on straight away. Another short pass down to the pocket over the head of Morrison. He's able to recover. It's left and taken by Greg Smith. Smith goes goalward. And there's another one.
Football's toughest guessing game. Just what exactly is Crackers Keenan saying, and does he mean it? This day against his old rival Don Scott, Keenan was in full verbal flight before the siren had even had a chance to butt in.
But it's pretty hard to upset Don Scott, isn't it, Bob? Well, if you look at Crackers, anything can upset you. You're looking at him before he was.
As was to be expected, it was a grunt match from the beginning, and down they went.
Got dropped. Now hand passing on. It's taken by Fowler. Fowler got it out once. Oh, he got dropped too, and the umpire's called play on as they kicked it by Merritt. Upfield, a little bit of a ruckus going on down here. Very high. Goss under the ball. Doesn't take his eye off it. Cop one too. Missed by Watson. Russo cops one too high. Forward zone. Madden up high. And the hands of Simon Madden.
There were to be brighter moments, particularly from the Bombers' spring-heeled skipper Simon Madden, as his boys accelerated away to a 3-goal win.
Hearn hand passes across to Van der Haar, gets through the first tackle, gives it across with a hand pass to Robbins. Robbins dummies around, straightens up, puts the ball goalward and brings up his second goal.
When Ron Barassi was looking for a lift this season, he usually called for Daryl Sutton, and rarely did the former Tasmanian let him down. This day against St Kilda, he repaid his coach's faith with 9 invaluable goals, and the ROOS were to win by 83 points.
This man, Robert Flower, he's in everything.
When you talk of Melbourne, you talk of Robbie Flower, and against Collingwood, he was in sparkling form, with Flower burning, the Demons led until well into the last quarter, and were eventually to go down by 10 points.
That's a better kick. That's the way to kick it out. Over towards the centre, the half-back flank now. Morris is there. Met Headley off. Beautiful play by
Maker. Goes in after the ball. Traps the ball, goes for a hand pass towards Flower. He's in trouble. Oh, clever dummy by Flower. Breaks away and goes for the stab pass up to Walters. There's Hanbury. He's been a good try. And there's the best player on the ground in my book, in Robert Flower. Look at that.
Out towards that centre wing position. Over there looking for Craig Davis, but it's Flower. Oh, magnificent play by Robert Flower to trap that ball. Coming now with a left foot kick in towards that full forward.
Nippy Carlton rover Alex Marcoux produced the play of the day against the Lions. It brought down the house, and the umpire as well.
On that half-back flank. Breaks away now. Goes for a kick up towards that centre wing position. Looking there for Green. It's
for the VFL Tribunal, the 1980 season was a hectic one. They had to deliberate on cases like these. Cameron Clayton was charged with striking St Kilda's Gary Sidebottom. He was found not guilty.
Clayton and Sidebottom having a few words. It's going to be definitely a free kick to Sidebottom.
They're in towards Donnell.
Robbie McGee was found guilty of striking Essendon's Frank Donnell and escaped with a severe reprimand.
Free kick. Pushing the back against McGee, I think. And he's taken his number, has he? I think he may have. He's gone straight at the goals.
Essendon's Robert MUIR was found not guilty after being reported for striking South Star forward John Roberts.
So Roberts has a chance to atone as he'll be taking a number.
When Bruce DOUL's clash with Footscray's Shane Loveless was replayed to the tribunal, things looked bad for both participants. Tribunal chairman Alf Foley announced a 2-week penalty for each.
Over the back of the pack.
St Kilda's volatile Robert MUIR was in trouble again. He got 4 weeks for striking Collingwood captain Ray Shaw.
It looks like the Dennis Banks about 20 metres out from goal. Yes. Oh, you saw that on your screen. I don't know what happened, but the umpire's taking out the book.
I think Ray Shaw said something to him.
And coming across now is Boyce. Couldn't
Kevin
pick it up.
Goss
Well
of
backed
South
up by
got 2
Goss.
matches for striking North's Morris Boyce.
Knocks the North Melbourne guy down, Boyce, and there'll be a bit of a wrestle going on between Goss and Puddlesack. It'll be a free kick to Boyce. Got him right at the back of the head, Goss. He might have got an elbow first, but the umpire's taken Goss's number.
Old teammates Gary Baker and Peter Keenan showed there was no love lost when they were reunited this season. Baker was found not guilty in this instance.
For goal, in towards the 10-metre square. And
Total perfection on the football field is rarely seen, but North's ruck giant Gary Dempsey came mighty close against Essendon. Many believe his performance, in which he gathered 41 possessions, was close to the complete game. Little wonder the Roos ran away with a match by 5 goals.
By Essendon, back there towards Mars, but he overruns the ball, picked up by Dempsey, and I think he's put it through. He has. What a day he's had today.
Things is in there. Comes out
After 11 straight losses, rookie coach Royce Hart finally tasted success with his young Bulldogs. Footscray, with full forward Shane Loveless kicking 8, recorded a 44-point win over the Lions at the Junction Oval.
Loveless in the front position, takes the mark.
Up in front. Now he goes back after it, traps it. Dodges back. Good play by McKenna. Hooks it back at the goals. This is going to land. Loveless is in the box seat. Another mark.
Kicking it up towards Loveless now, and he takes another mark. Good play. Just what we're saying. Gets it over there towards Perrin. That perhaps wasn't good play, but their luck's of fortune is Dunstan runs in for an open goal, and he's offline as he'll kick the goal. It's a goal.
There's Jimmy Edmund going, leading in the race for the ball once again. Oh, great play by Davidson. He screams away and goes for the long kick. He fires. He's put this through. Beautiful kick. Punches it further field to Jennings. Jennings gives it across to Abbey. Abbey will go for the shot towards the goal. Let's have it swinging back. Oh.
Yes. And Flower comes across.
Lonely Melbourne also celebrated a win over St Kilda, and it wasn't hard to guess who was in the thick of things. Robbie Flower, who was to kick 3, and Melbourne went on to win by 42 points.
From Flower going goalward, a beautiful kick. The ball back now across up the ground, a poor kick from Roberts finds Flower. Flower going goalward for Melbourne. It's a beautiful kick from Flower. It's Flower. A chance to kick his third left foot goal. Puts it on his right foot and put it right through the centres.
Cleared by Craig Davis.
In recent years, there's been no greater confrontation than the clash between Barassi and his arch-rival Tommy Hafey. North's second encounter with Hafey's Collingwood proved no exception.
Pass over to Greg, intercepted by Hanbury. Back it goes to Hanbury now. He's only got to get a clear run. He's going to run to an open goal. This could be danger. He fires. And it's through. Oh, when you hop, you hop, and when you're not, you're not. You just kick that, you could say he kicked that from a certain place, Peter. He certainly did, didn't he?
He wouldn't be wrong.
Hang over to Davis, it won't bounce right for him. He's certainly having a lot of trouble getting it up now. Brewer tries to get it out. Brewer picks it up on the run as a shot for goal. It's through! It's through! Luck's a fortune. By golly, did they make hard work of that? That's goal number 5.
Kick dropping short. Rodney Wright, tackled by Byrne. And Byrne backing up much better. And takes the ball on the run. Gets away from Ken Montgomery. Collingwood defender races in towards the goals, and he's just about dopped that one. He has. Listen to the crowd.
An awkward bounce down there for all.
Carlton's top cat, Vinny Cottogio, took on a whole team of cats when the Blues played Geelong and sizzled with play like this.
Oh, leave it. The whole three-card trick. Obviously, the Cottogio yelled out, leave it, Rod, and that's exactly what Blake did. And Garwood, the kick's there, and Wright comes out. It was touched, though, off the mark. Wright comes back.
Things were to brighten up for Geelong very quickly, however.
Looking snapped for a mark from Newman. Newman up high, couldn't take the mark. Trying to pick it up as Terry Bright. Bright trying to go goalwards. Gets in towards the goal square. It's a goal, and Geelong are back in front. What a game of football as Geelong go to 12-11, 83 with Carlton 12-6, 78. Loveless has got the sit here.
Footscray, with a taste of victory in their mouths, went on another rampage, this time against South, and once again Shane Loveless was in the thick of things.
With the right hand and grabbed it with the left.
Carlton's little mosquito fleet were on the receiving end against South before finally picking themselves up, dusting themselves off and showing their class.
Kick comes out of the pack, Cottogio goes down, and it's no free kick. It's taken out of his hands there and picked up by Buckley. Buckley now gets a hand pass up, it's over the head of Cottogio, but bounces well for him. From centre half forward, Cottogio has had one bounce, and Green should have come out and went straight at Cottogio. As a result, Cottogio ran the full distance and puts it through. It across the wood, centre half forward. A big pack up, and Collingwood came out with the ball, gives it to Jim Buckley. He walks around, straightens up, and puts it right through the centre to kick his first. The back of the pack, there's McClure. Couldn't take the mark. Marku taps the ball forward. The left foot kick from Marku towards the goal. It's a great goal by Marku.
The ball back there towards
Tommy Hafey went down to the MCG along with 64,000 others and was confronted with his long-time mate and football foe Kevin Bartlett in top flight. Hungry didn't care about the greasy conditions. He just kicked goals, 4 in fact, and revelled in the Tigers' 9-point win.
4 goals to Bartlett.
4 goals to Bartlett. I hate to brag on this, but I said they've got to keep this guy under control, and he's been a menace. Really, he has. 4 goals, and he's the difference.
Footscray was on fire, and the power-crazed Bulldogs recorded their 3rd win in a row to Melbourne's dismay. It lifted them off the bottom of the league ladder and gave the football world firm notice that Kelvin Templeton would play a big part in the 1980 Brownlow cut.
Torpedo kick too, right down the
Geelong continued their rise to power, holding North scoreless in the second half of a low-scoring match at Cardinia Park.
Coming back, I think it is. It's a goal, a beautiful goal to Bright.
He'll go for the short
Even
pass.
skipper Ian Nankervis contributed to the Cats' 57-point win when he sauntered down from the back pocket for this goal.
Running around, has a shot at the goals. A beautiful goal. What a great goal by Ian Nankervis.
After 11 successive wins, Richmond's golden streak came to an end against Fitzroy. It was one of the shocks of the season, and the Lions' 21-point success was brought about by the play of men like Wilson, Poynton and Conlon, who were all on target. At VFL Park, Geelong continued to improve, but the points this day against Hawthorn were hard fought for.
He's not going to kiss him, I don't think. It'll be a 15-metre penalty against Turner. Matthews takes the mark. And a beautiful judo throw.
Don Scott down, got one right across the face that time.
At the go, Matthews is on his own, but he's caught with the ball. Matthews in the square. Steps for goal.
Beautiful play, Peter.
That's a goal. Magnificent goal from Matthews.
More couldn't hold us a go.
Once again, Billy Goggins' nephew, Terry Bright, couldn't put a foot wrong, and 7 times he steered the ball through the goals.
And there's a go for goal number 6 for Bright, right through the middle. Not a bad sort of a shot, but it veers off at the last moment, off the top of the pack. Bright on the edge of the line there. Oh, he's got around them beautifully. A snap for goal. It might be through. It's a beautiful goal. What a magnificent magnificent goal by Bryce.
Goal number 7.
Line Southby couldn't
In one of the biggest shocks of the season, Melbourne sold former captain and centre-man Greg Wells to Carlton. Ironically, just in time to line up against his old teammates.
Mackay with a hand pass over to Katoggio. The ball sticks in the mud. He'll go for a hand pass over to Fitzpatrick. He'll line up the goals from 20 metres out. In he goes, fires.
Getting up towards centre wing. Over the back is beautiful mark there taken by Wells.
Collingwood was leading by 3 points when Malcolm Blight grabbed the ball. The siren sounded, but field umpire Ian Robinson didn't hear it and the game continued.
The siren has gone. The siren's gone. The crowd coming onto the ground now. Good kicks this goal. They've won the match. He's only about 25 to 30.
North Melbourne went on to take the $64,000 first prize from the amazed Magpies. The game won't be replayed, but Mr. Hamilton told me the siren fiasco won't happen again.
Well, we're currently investigating the possibility of bleepers. The umpires, the two field umpires, would carry little receivers and we'd send out a signal.
Jack, I believe the umpires at times have been in touch with the VFL, saying they've had trouble hearing the VFL park siren before.
Yes, we've had the siren tested on previous occasions and we haven't had any problems with it this year at all until last night.
In a real seesaw battle, South Melbourne and Essendon swapped the lead and plenty more, countless times in their match at Windy Hill. In a thrilling finish, the Swans were to win by 5 points.
I think he may be acting a little bit. They're both into it, Carter and Vanderhaar. Well, we couldn't growl about the fireworks here, but I think we tipped this before the game started. It could be a pretty fiery one. Well, this game has had plenty of fireworks all day. The first half, particularly the first quarter. That's desperation football down there.
Keenan hitting the point post there, Lou, but with a head like crackers, it won't matter because he's up straight away and right back into it.
Kicked back over the centre-half forward position. There's
For Essendon, play like this from young 19-year-old veteran Tim Watson was to prove inspirational.
Green, down it comes here again. Timmy Watson, a snap for goal. Is it coming around enough? It is. What a beautiful goal by Timmy Watson. That's goal number 4. It's brought the Essendon crowd to life. They were dying on their feet.
When Hawthorn and Collingwood met, it seemed only natural that Lethal Lee and Stan the Man should get together.
Oh, Scott tried to knock his block right off there with Tony Shaw down, but it's two Hawthorn players have back flank Island.
In just a bone-jarring instant, Andrew Ireland learnt the meaning of the Lethal Lee tag.
Runs away and it's Baylor. Oh, everyone goes
And
down.
just a minute later, umpire Peter Cameron hit the turf.
Also, Stewart kicks the ball back. Now, the players up there and the umpire can gain some composure. Peter Cameron did go down very heavily, as did Peter Moore. He does appear to be all right. Craig Davis right out towards
Back to football, however, and with play like this from Alan Edwards, Collingwood was to continue to hold on to 5th spot on the ladder with a 27-point win.
Looking for the short pass to Brewer, and he's found him. Brewer immediately plays on, goes for the short pass. Great play by Brewer as he's found Ray Shaw. He'll run into the open goal for the easiest of goals, and that was tremendous football by Collingwood as they have now hit the front once again. That was their 5th.
Pace was to play a key part in the shaping of the 1980 season. Geelong's display against Richmond at the MCG on July 26 was like a whirlwind through the stadium.
Wright goes away from the pack, and look at this fella go. He'll go for a hand pass out wide. He does. Fumbled again by Wood. He's made some mistakes today, and Turner will go again. There he goes. 1 bounce, 2 bounces, 3. Coming around that wing position wide. Turner flies, and he takes the mark, and this fella goes like a racehorse. Look at him go. This is
The fleet-footed Cats cut the Richmond defence to ribbons, and a 17-point win took Billy Goggins' men from Corio a step closer to the top spot they hungered for.
How was that for a bit of balking that time as he ran?
Geelong using 3 ruck rovers as Clark now gets it to Turner. Turner using his pace. He's well shepherded there by Lund. Runs around another tackle. Turner goes goalward. It's across the face maybe. It's a beautiful goal from Turner. Magnificent football. Match-winning play by Turner.
Tiger Croswell wasn't interested in the niceties of the game when he lined up against South Melbourne at the Lakeside Oval that day. The former Carlton and North forward put on a show that could rarely be equalled, let alone bettered. Looking back, it's hard to remember the Tiger kicking 5 goals. More likely you'd remember his run-ins with South skipper Barry Round, or his somersaulting and aerobatics. Essendon slumped badly during the season and looked like throwing away victory against Fitzroy at Windy Hill. With Simon Madden in total command on the forward line, the Bombers had a target to fire for. And the lanky youngster didn't let his teammates down. He booted 8 and Essendon won by a kick.
Putting it up long to the full forward zone at the back of the
North's Ron Barassi recorded his second consecutive win over his old teammate Percy Jones.
Huppets it was trying to get a snap kick in. Now it's Keith Gregg, leads in the race for the ball. Oh, brilliant play, swings around, hooks it at the goals. What is it?
I think he got it.
Oh, what a goal from Keith Gregg. There's the captain's goal, a team lifter. North Melbourne have kicked their 12th.
Every year, the battle for the finals takes on a new dimension as the season moves into August, and 1980 was no different. For South and Collingwood, the battle for 5th place was virtually decided when the two teams met at Victoria Park. It was one of the toughest fought matches of the year, with Collingwood victorious by 33 points.
Photographer just about being socked into the crowd.
The bounce of the ball, roll round, gets the hit out that time, comes back towards Dacos, he'll swing onto the right foot, back at the goals, and I think, yes, it's a goal to Dacos, a good goal to Peter Dacos.
The ball up there towards the full
For Hawthorn, the season was a dismal and forgettable one. This match against Carlton was no exception.
A beautiful goal by Mark Two and scores a dead level.
Quickly puts it into the centre. Johnson, a fine mark. Gets away now from Eade. Straightens up and puts a long kick down towards the goal line. Sheldon's there for Carlton. It goes past Sheldon, rolls through. A great goal by Wayne Johnson. By Matthews, was able to get a hand pass out to Marku. Marku's kick going goalward. Oh, Johnson came across, hit the goal post heavily. Johnson hasn't moved. He moves now, but by gee, he'll be sore. Again, one of those smaller players in Marku take it. Get away again towards the centre half forward position with a drop punt. Kelvin Moore, beautiful football by Kelvin Moore, again in front of Warren Jones, takes the mark, runs 2.
It proved also that even champions can have an off day. For Kel Moore, one of the few.
Roach and Bartlett there for Richmond. Emmett Dunn behind.
Richmond's loss to Geelong was the incentive needed to give Royce Hart's Bulldogs a football lesson. The Tigers looked no further than spearhead Michael Roach, and he obliged with 10 of the best.
Straight over to Wakeman. Wakeman in towards goal, looking for Dunn. Roach over the back. Dunn off the ground. I think it's a goal.
Roach is up again, but he's over the back of the pack this time. Players diving on the ball. Here's a chance for Roach to kick it off the ground. He can. Goal number 10 it is.
With St Kilda's luck soaring week by week, Alex Jesaulenko could look back on the match against Geelong with real satisfaction. Thanks to fine play by the likes of Bruce Duper-Ouzell, the Saints had led by 27 points at the last change and were set to record their 3rd win of the season. Then came the controversial finish. Saru kicked the ball off the ground and it appeared to go through for a goal. Geelong defender Richard Murray claimed vehemently that he had touched the ball, and his complaints were so bitter that he was finally reported on an abusive language charge. Fortunately for him, the tribunal found the charge not sustained, but the Cats were to lose the match by 5 points. It was a round that saw 3 of the top 4 sides beaten, with Carlton restoring some prestige to the 5 with a 21-point win over Richmond at Princes Park. Mark McClure, hopelessly out of touch for most of the year, was the man in the thick of things.
Putting the long kick back, McClure. Beautiful mark by McClure. A short pass and it's come off and a good diving.
South continued to thrill their supporters one week and frustrate them the next. Against North, they could do no wrong.
Oh, it's a brilliant piece of play that, and it's 4 points. Up to where it's a Morrison who goes down and caught one in the face too.
Down in the square, players set themselves. John Roberts, I would say, yes.
The key seemed to be the aerobatic talents of John Roberts, and his 5 goals helped the Swans to a 2-goal win.
Roll play, again putting it up high, setting it up for the mark down there, and once again there he is, that man, John Roberts. What a mark, Frank, what a mark. Oh.
Richmond's Michael Roach went into the match against Melbourne needing 9 goals for his century. Few people at Punt Road rated him a chance. They planned to bring his parents over from Tasmania the following week in anticipation. Roach spoiled their plans with a superb solo performance against the Demons. His marking and deadly accuracy had all but ended any interest in the match, except for his goal-kicking feats. Late in the last quarter, he lined up for goal. Goal number 100, and few people, if any, thought he would make the distance from inside the centre square. It was a superb kick to equal Jack Titus's club record, and then he had to put up with a horde of well-wishers who invaded the ground.
To turn.
Things weren't quite as relaxed at Kardinia Park, where Geelong carved up Collingwood for 3 quarters and then had to fight for its life in the last.
Floyd again, who's moved well downfield. Floyd shoots for goal, and it's through for another one to Geelong. No mark paid there. Turner comes up. Tries a hand pass, that's successful. Picked up by Card, who tries to steady. Didn't carry well to Floyd, but a snapshot for goal is well on its way. It's coming around, it's a goal!
It's going towards the goals, but it bounces back the other way towards Davis. He got a touch of the slips that time, couldn't pick it up. The ball knocked along the ground by Geelong. Now it's Davis again, getting around his opponents, running to an open goal. Fires.
Goal.
And it's a goal. Nice bit of play on the part of Dave. At it about Rene Kink. He's built like Tars, but he's played like Jane today. The ball coming out now to Nan Curvis as the ball is driven down there towards Johnson. Punched away by Magro. There's a go for Clark. He's away from Young. Gets a hand pass out there to Bruns. Bruns going for an open shot. He gives a hand pass back to Bright. He picks it up on the first, top over to Mossa for goal number 5.
Very good. Good kick up.
At VFL Park, Ron Barassi again called on the versatile Daryl Sutton to get him out of a jam against Hawthorn. Sutton replied with 4 goals in as many minutes, and the Roos went on to record a 56-point win over old rivals Hawthorn.
Not taking any chances like that. He's going to go back and take the shot and put it right through the centre for his second goal.
Robertson, and it was picked up again by Good, and it's Sutton again.
Oh, gee, he certainly, I don't know what, if anything was said to him at half-time break by Ronald Dale Barassi, the coach of North Melbourne, but here's Sutton going for his 3rd goal, and you've seen them all, and that is going to be a goal.
Calvin Moore punches the ball away, he's held. Oh, it's Sutton who's being held. So can we see 4 goals in 4 minutes?
Quite strange, but Sutton going for his 4th goal and hasn't made any mistake. Into his mouth because I could see
it was to prove
Solado
that even coaches
laughing, so
can
he must
crack
be
a
quite happy
smile.
with the result of that one.
The final 5 was settled on August the 23rd when South Melbourne blew its chances against Hawthorn at VFL Park. It was one of the toughest and most hard-fought matches at the park this season, and the Hawks relished the conditions.
The white shorts of someone who's been dropped. Back to James, he gets a quick hand pass towards Ricky Quaid. Will now tap the ball on. Don Scott following the ball. It could be a free kick against Scott.
DeWick, who gets ridden into the ground.
At Arden Street, Richmond showed every ounce of its undoubted class, with a stirring win in time on to cap one of the best matches of the season against North. It was to be the Tigers' first win on the ground since 1974.
Left half forward for the Tigers. Roach having plenty of bother today. Only a couple of kicks. That's number 3. It's almost a goal! Hit the post, or is it through? It's a goal! Oh, unbelievable! By Byrne, it's rolling goalwards. It won't quite get there, though.
For the Tigers' redoubtable Francis Burke, a bloodied forehead in an accidental collision with a teammate proved to be an inspiration to the whole side and to St Francis himself.
Well, isn't he a marvel, this guy? God, I don't know who's going to see the goals. Look at the blood just oozing out of his forehead. He is a marvel, this guy, and if he kicks this goal, he'd be an inspiration to the team from about 15 metres out on a slight angle. Let's see what he can do with this. He's had to be shifted away from fullback after getting that knock before. He fires, and he's put it through for a goal, I think. Yes, a goal. What a goal. Well, he's a marvel. Great play from Burke to get it out the bar, the beat, I reckon. My God, I don't know how he's doing it, that guy. I thought I'd turned it up about 20 minutes ago. Look, he's still in the hands of the trainer, and a great win, and they're all hugging Francis Burke, and why shouldn't they hug him?
For their side to get a goal here.
With top spots seemingly out of reach, Geelong cruised against lowly Fitzroy, and but for a 7-goal bag from Terry Bright, could have found themselves highly embarrassed.
Back onto the right, and he'll go for home with the long torpedo punter. Magnificent kick. Is it coming back?
Great kick by Terry Bryant.
He always seems to get boot to ball. Mossop now, a hand pass over to Bright again. Can he snap for goal? He can. True. Good goal. Mossop again. Featured in that goal. Got that temperament, David Clark. He's an attacking sort of a player. Here's a chance now for Bright to line up from about 20 metres out from goal. No mistake. Goal number 7.
After 285 VFL games over 16 years, Big Carl Ditterich bowed out of the game. He went like he came, with a performance to be remembered. It might not have been pretty football, but it was football Big Carl style, and stirred both Melbourne supporters and the whole Collingwood team. It also proved to be infectious.
Goodness me, down goes Andrew Arlen. He got a beauty. Right across the bridge of the nose.
The back is Picken, takes it off the pack, gets a hand pass out. There's another Collingwood player down.
Yeah, Ditterich got awesome. Willis gets the ball up towards Young, who got one for his corner that time.
It's a dangerous hand pass. Rene KINK got one right in the chops.
Square, or if it does, it will only just do that. Good hand pass across the way. John results in a goal. Great hand pass.
There's a foul, a beautiful play by magnificent football. What a beautiful bit of play on the part of the Melbourne Giants. The spin away. Aitken tries to grab the mark. He finally taps it out to Young. Young's clear. He's pushed in the back virtually by Giles. A snap for goal. He's put it through. A beautiful bit of play. And that's what you call a goal under pressure. Actually, it comes down towards KINK. He can't get his hands crossed. There's Dacos falling on top of the ball. Breaks clear of the pack. Had a ton of time to do that. Snap for goal. I think he might have put it through. He has.
KINK. Ray Shaw. Over towards Young. Back towards Shaw. Good handball. And the skipper goes.
Gordon's at the back. Gordon goes for the punch. Back it goes to Young. He backs back into trouble. Now he's out of it. Tries to snap for the goal. He's put it through. A magnificent goal by Young.
Great goal.
Looked as though he was in all the trouble about the place.
The shock of the round came at the Lakeside Oval, where South made up partly for their failure to make the finals by recording a great 44-point win over Premiership favourites Richmond. It was a result that was to cost Richmond top spot on the ladder, the position they had held for nearly all the season.
By Greg Smith. Greg Smith gets up, then straightens up, puts a long kick down and swinging back. It could be a great goal. Beautiful goal by Greg Smith. Well done, Smithy. To Smith. Smith runs around Rains, comes around a beautiful piece of shepherding by Morrison, allows Smith to come in, the ball swinging back, and he kicks his third goal. Great play there. Coop going goal with the hand passes on. As Evans accepts that hand pass, gives it back now towards Smith. Smith straightens up, puts it through.
When Rovers' Ken Sheldon and Ron Weirmouth clashed, the umpires moved in. Sheldon received 4 weeks from the tribunal on a striking charge.
And Sheldon has his number taken.
South's Rod Carter was cleared on a charge of striking the Lions' David Rankin.
Ball this time to Stephen Smith.
Big Carl made this fiery exit after 285 VFL games and 20 tribunal appearances. He was found not guilty of striking Collingwood's Kevin Morris.
It's on now. Big Carl in the thick of things as play goes on.
Ball down there to
Arnold BRIEDIS felled the Magpies' Ronnie Weirmouth in the first semi-final, got a 4-week suspension and will miss the early matches of the 1981 season.
He's taken his number. And Weirmouth's out like a light.
A bad piece of disposal.
Ken Sheldon was on the receiving end when the Tigers played the Blues in the qualifying final at VFL Park. Graham Landy missed out on the remainder of the series when he was suspended for 4 matches.
Landy getting the treatment, rough and tumble once again. A very high and heavy tackle, possibly unnecessary. Can't get the run of it.
Landy's teammate Michael Malthouse, on the other hand, was cleared to play in the grand final after this striking charge against Geelong's Sam Newman was dropped.
Oh, no love lost here, I'll tell you that much. We saw last week Richmond serving up a bit, few fireworks.
From the black and white days of the early 60s, they've survived the battle of time. Mopsy, Tomo, Sam, Big Carl and Hungry. 1980 was to provide milestones for each of them. John Rantell had to make the switch from south to north, back to south, and finally to the other end of the lake in Fitzroy to break the VFL Games record of 335 against St Kilda at Moorabbin on May the 10th.
Oh, I've changed it a lot. I have to concentrate a lot more now, and I have to be probably a little bit more negative than what I used to be.
Len Thompson, the 1972 Brownlow medalist, former Collingwood captain and 5 times Copeland Trophy winner, played his 300th game for Fitzroy.
At that stage, when you run out here in the first, and I think that there were 2:30 the game starts or something. At 1:45 I was ready, or 12:30 I was sitting ready with my jumper on. There was no one going to get my jumper off me, but you know, I didn't think they would play for this long.
Sam Newman joined the 300 club late in the year, and but for a spate of injuries would now be nearer the 350 mark.
I wouldn't like to get the injury part out of context. I've had a number of injuries because I've been playing a number of years, but you know, it would to deter young boys from starting the game because there's a lot of injuries. It's not really true, and I like playing the game because I like playing the game. It's a great game, and I think you'd only have to go to see a grand final to realise just what a great game we do have. And you know, I know you've been around the world viewing sport, and I think I'm sure you'd agree with me.
Sam, how much does playing 300 games mean to you?
But it's a pleasant experience now that it's arrived, but that's about it.
Big Carl Ditterich bowed out after 285 games and 20 tribunal appearances, and he went with a bang against the Demons' traditional rivals Collingwood at the MCG in the last match of the season.
Oh no, it's getting it's a young man's game. It's getting faster and harder all the time, and I think, you know, really my presence, you know, even today might have been all right, you know, for a while, but I'm still holding a young bloke back, and that was the motive before, you know, probably 6 or 8 weeks ago, or 6 weeks ago anyhow, when I decided not to play anymore. Because, you know, in a young side like Melbourne, you've got to bring the players up, you've got to turn them over and give them their opportunity to try and accept the challenge, accept the responsibility, and to learn to play, you know, league football. And they can't do that, you know. Sure, it's good grounding in the reserves, but really, when it's all boiled down, you know, the name of the game is league football, first 18.
And finally, on September the 13th, Richmond's indestructible Kevin Bartlett played his 337th game to become the VFL's longest-serving player. 5 veterans, all of them champions, who've survived the most telling test in football, that test of time.
Qualifying day at VFL Park had promised to be a day to remember for 33-year-old Richmond veteran Kevin Bartlett. He broke the VFL long service record, but was destined to break every Carlton heart as he piled up 6 goals and a place in his 7th Richmond second semi-final side.
Yes, another goal to Kevin Bartlett. And a poor kick from Wood might find Bartlett, and does exactly that. Wow, what a quarter. Roach and Southby, the Rovers will come in for this one. Bartlett, hand passes Wiley. Wiley shoots for goal. I think he's missed it. No, he got it. The Rovers came into that. Well taken by Wiley. Wiley's kicked down towards centre half forward, and the ever reliable Bartlett's there. Straightens up, goes goalward, and it's number 4 for Kevin Bartlett. Finds Bartlett. Bartlett gives it to Collins. Collins over again to Wood. The goals are open. Wood's going forward, 25 metres out. It's a goal. Another beautiful kick towards centre half forward. Bartlett's waiting there. It comes off to the hands of Bartlett towards Waitman. Waitman will give it back, I think, to Bartlett. Bartlett straightens up, and from directly in front, there's no mistake as Bartlett brings up goal number 5. A great effort by Waitman and Bartlett. Jess is kicked down, and at the back is Bartlett. It comes off the hands of Bartlett. He gets around Marku, straightens up again. It's another one for Bartlett. Goal number 6.
At quarter time, the football action was momentarily forgotten when rival coaches Percy Jones and Tony DOUL clashed. A few words, a push and a shove, and the crowd was buzzing.
When the 2 respective coaches get into loggerheads.
At the MCG, 2 angry ants, Collingwood's Ray Shaw and North's Darryl Schimmelbusch got their act together.
Back to Moore again. And Moore's off like a race up. He's going to go around. He is.
Big Peter Moore left North at a standstill, and that was to be the pattern of the elimination final. For North and retiring coach Ron Barassi, it was the end of an era.
Full forward position to Mark. To Olsen. And umpire said play on us. Dents gets a hand pass back, but they're all missing at the moment. Oh, taken away from McCann by Ray Shaw. Good play, a running shot for goal. And the Magpies have hit the front.
Barham to Carlson. Can't take the pass. Now he gets up.
4 goals from Lee Carlson, and North trailed by 11 points at the last change.
Take the mark. Davis goes in. He hasn't had a touch all day. Umpire says play, and Carlson snaps for goal. There he goes again for goal number 3. And as this fella turned out to be something at all, look at him there. Up to Moore and Dent again having a great battle. There's Sutton going with a big punch. There's the danger man. Carlson a snap for goal. Another one. That's goal number 4 for
It was to be Peter Moore's day, however. A great single-handed rucking performance capped off with 22 kicks and 10 marks.
No doubt he was the hero of the game.
Jimmy Jess and Kevin Bartlett had more on their minds than football, and they set the pattern for a boisterous opening to the second semi-final between Geelong and Richmond at VFL Park.
Come all over the top came Smith. 2 Richmond players go down again. Can't quite see who that one is either, but
Sarah, I think. The ball there as Welsh comes across, fumbles it a couple of times, keeps the ball going, and we could find a free kick. Charlie leads with Neil, but Neil's greater pace on this occasion, takes the ball away. He keeps the ball in fine play. Brilliant football by Robert Neil on this occasion.
Kick up toward Turner. Turner and Welsh doing battle. Turner breaks away from Welsh. He's got the paddock in front of him. He's taken his 3rd bounce now. He'll take the 4th, I think.
Kick from Strawn. Punts away. Bartlett sweeps on.
Once again, it was to be little Kev's day, and the 33-year-old veteran of 338 VFL games kicked 8 goals, and Geelong's grand final hopes out the door.
Close enough. Yes! Ball may elude him. It's running fairly free. Tapped on by Monteith to Bartlett. Bartlett shoots at goal. It could be another one for Bartlett. That will be his.
I agree with the decision by the umpire as Boz comes out. Freen shows tremendous courage to put himself on top of the ball. Irrepressible. Bartlett straightens up again, and with the left foot goes forward, and it's goal! With the long kick up, it's over the head. Bartlett swooping on it again. Nonetheless, it was a free kick as Rains gives it across to Bartlett. Bartlett goes forward again. Roach coming across, couldn't take the mark. He comes through to Card. Bartlett kicks it off the ground. There's a chance of goal.
Long 45-metre kick.
At the MCG, Ricky Barham was running Carlton off their feet, and the 1979 Premiers were eliminated from the Premiership chase.
Rising fast wouldn't catch him. Ricky Barham, superbly played. Short pass, full no. That was great play.
Kick back there towards Barham. He tries to smother. He's got it now. He has a shot. He's put it through.
Young underneath it. Kink at the back. Too tall. Getting away from Young now. Renee Kink, Collingwood need him to fire, and Kink goes for the long boot down towards the full forward position. DOUL tries the punch from behind, getting it away from Davis. Can he get kick number 2? Sheldon's there with him. Craig Davis breaking away, got nowhere to go. The flying doormat Bruce DOUL almost picked him up, but he's still got it. Well played. Gives it to Renee Kink. Kink well shepherded by Shaw.
After a dismal season, Renee Kink stepped back into the limelight and was clearly best afield in Collingwood's 50-point win.
Kink, didn't bounce too well for Kink on that occasion. Got grabbed by the arm. Spins around onto his left foot and fires. That could be a miraculous goal.
Oh, what brilliant play that was. DOUL spins out of the pack. It's a bad hand pass to Kink. He'll try to get out. He's clear now. Back to Wearmouth. Wearmouth going for a run. A hand pass back there to Barham. Snaps for goal. And that's another one. Over to Wearmouth. Look at the little rover go. He hasn't got a helmet today. Up to Barham. Barham runs around his opponent Malin. Back to Wearmouth. They've got Carlton bamboozle. Over to Wearmouth. Barham again. A shot for goal. It'll be through.
Goal.
A goal. And they're really giving Carlton a pasting now. That was magnificent play by Barham and to Wearmouth.
In comes Collingwood's Olsen again. Gives it back to Peter Dacos. Dacos fires it back to Barham. Barham, the speedster, has a shot at the goals. That looks all right too. It's another.
Collingwood and Geelong had last met in a preliminary final back in 1964, and that day only a kick separated the teams. Fate was to repeat itself, but not before a tense, thrilling encounter, highlighted by a number of controversial decisions by field umpires Smith and Della.
Even though they made hard work of that, having trouble getting it out. Here's a go for Collingwood again as the ball's picked up by Davis. Over to Shaw, and it could be a goal. Down there towards the full forward, but nearly a mark to Shaw. He's going to pay it.
Collingwood's captain Ray Shaw and opposite number Ian Nankervis of Geelong disputed this mark.
For the little fella, because look at Nankervis, the Melbourne, the Geelong captain going mad about. That'll be a 15-metre penalty.
Oh, how stupid can you be?
This one, he won't miss this one now, right on the line.
Geelong skipper Turner.
Michael Turner was best of field and set the VFL Park flanks alight with a succession of sprints.
And also Carlson, his opponent.
And there's the star of the match, Turner. Can he get clear this time? He's still battling up pretty well. He's out. He's clear. What a bit of dust this guy's got. Look at him go.
That's David Clark, who was named the centre-half back. Looks for Turner, one of Geelong's best so far. He's given Carlson the caning so far on the match, and away he goes again. Turner gets out of his own teammate's road. Another run from this Geelong champion winger, lands the ball almost in the 10-metre square. Moore, good defence, runs for Geelong, snap shoots for goal, going close, wait for the bounce, it's through!
Back, Hawkins coming in, flying over the pack, couldn't hold the mark. There's Davis spinning
Craig
away.
Davis sorted himself out of a precarious position to thread through this great goal.
A magnificent goal.
A Taylor there for Geelong. Although having funding problems at the moment, the Magpie skipper shows them how it's done. Streaming forward, Ray Shaw fires at the goal, hits a beautiful goal from the Collingwood skipper. And that's his third goal. That is a good captain's effort. Clark's long kick will land just about at the wing. Turner, great mark! And away goes the Geelong speedster. Bob Davis was known as the Geelong flyer.
Billy Goggin moved David Clark from centre-half back, where he'd been well beaten, to the forward line. The result, 3 goals.
Free kick there, but here's David Clark playing much better in attack now, lining it up for another one to Geelong, and he's put it through for his second. Big punch from the Geelong ruckman. Clark. Into the goals, that's through. There's Dacos in there, KINK comes in as well. Scooped out towards Tony Shaw, flicks it out towards Dacos again from 20 metres out, that's a goal! Collingwood come back.
I thought it might have been a mark to middle miss.
I reckon it was a mark, Bob.
Yeah, everything but taken home.
Michael Turner, like many Geelong players, had trouble working out the umpire's interpretation, and his frustrations came through.
And is he happy? Ronnie Wearmouth.
Well, that's foolish play, considering the pressure they're under at the moment. They want to reserve everything they possibly can, Peter.
A little bit of frustration, I think, creeping into it there. Goes for the long kick. Ward touched. Here's a go for Moore to get it out of the goal square, and brilliantly done by the...
Peter Moore got the running bug and just kept on moving.
Well, if Ricky Barham's out, this guy's just about as fast. Moore's kick up, and Curvis goes wide, looking for Turner. Naturally he would, because he's best man on the ground. Michael Turner's short pass to Terry Bright. He's been quiet today. He can score a goal from there, though. Fires it at the big sticks. Looks okay. Wait for the goal umpire. Out towards Turner again. He'll have sore feet tonight kicking the ball, or sore fist from punching it. Little short kick up towards...
And this was the mark late in the last quarter that caused the consternation. Peter Landy agreed with the umpire, but Peter Johnston was clearly not amused.
Well, OK, it's a free kick or a mark to Billy Picken there at centre-half back. A very doubtful one indeed.
Turner and Carlson. Turner, no, didn't take the grab on that occasion. Lee Carlson beats him to it, and well played. Carlson towards right half forward, but only Jan Smith for Geelong is there. Craig Davis, there's the siren! Collingwood are in the grand final! Collingwood have won the preliminary final!
Well, the first side to make the grand final since the inception of the final 5 from 4th or 5th position, but by golly, they had to earn it all the way. Collingwood looked as though they had it well won about, 12 minutes to go.
The final vote, Collingwood. Barham.
Ricky Barham got it. Templeton, the winner. Kelvin Templeton, the former Traralgon player, 24 years of age.
Ladies and gentlemen, to make the presentation to our Brownlow Medal winner 1980, would you welcome once again the President of the Victorian Football League, Dr. ARNOLD.
And it does give me a great deal of pleasure to officially make the presentation and congratulations to the 1980 Brownlow Medal winner, Mr. Kelvin Templeton.
First quarter. Grand final day, 1980. And when the ball bounced to start the match, few of the 113,000 spectators would have realised what was in store for them that afternoon.
The back is done. The ball pushed out there to Welsh. He's grabbed. He gets clear. That's his strength for you. Takes the ball away from that half-back line. Back it goes to Jess. Outmanoeuvred, picking on. MAGPIES grabbed him around the neck. It'll be a 15-metre penalty. There's a man loose down there. He's found him, Jess. It's a good pass, and Waitman's got the mark. He'll run to an open goal and fire. That's good. That is good. That's 16 minutes gone of the first quarter. Lee got a knockout, but not a good one. It's finally pushed out to Bart. This looks dangerous on the boundary line. A goal coming up. It's a goal. Henry does it again. Beautiful goal, the Marvel. They're in front by 5 points. Knocked out by Lees, dominating those bounces or those ball-ups at the moment. Oh, beautiful play by Wood. Back it goes to Kane. A long shot for goal. It's not a bad sort of a kick either. Goal. That's a goal.
Centre-half forward, not a well-directed one, but it does find Robert Wiley eventually, who fires at the goals. Wait for the goal umpire. That's a miraculous kick from Wiley. Pass, not too well-directed towards Picken. Shaw eventually picks it up. Is he off target? Wait for the goal umpire. Now it's a goal.
Ball comes out now to Shaw. He goes down. Out to Carson. A hand pass back here to Davis. A chance for Collingwood to go into attack. He decides to go for a bit of a run. A hand pass over to Billy Picken. He's got to straighten up and fire. And he's put it through for a goal. Rawlings will go for a hand pass over to Wiley. Bounce right. He's running to an open goal and fires. This looks bad for Collingwood. It's through for another one.
Looking for Cloak. Cloak takes the mark. Clayon says umpire Bill Della. Cloak does just that. The big fella gets into top gear and away he goes. A long shot at goal from the big Richmond forward. That looks a pretty good sort of a kick to me. Another one to the Tigers.
Malthouse goes straight into King. Here's a go now for Collingwood to score a goal as Weirmouth goes for a long hand pass to Moore. He can't miss this one for sure. Just with a long kick looking there for Roach and Cloak. Oh, Bartlett again is a chance for a goal. Number 5, I think he's done it.
Yes, up towards Cloak again. Couldn't take it. Roach is there. Gives it to Bartlett. Bartlett 10 metres out, running in for another one to Richmond. Starting at centre-half back, of course. Oh, ups a daisy. Francis Burke got offloaded there. It didn't matter. Streaming forward, though, is Davis. He has a shot at goal and has put it through for a goal.
They're giving him all a run. Now, out of it to Bartlett. Bartlett and Magro having a battle there, but it's Bartlett getting around Magro. Look at the little champ go. Coming around the boundary line, going for goal number 7. What's the result? It is. He's equal the record.
Upfield, taken by Mervyn Kane. Long kick by Kane. There's the siren. Richmond have won their first premiership since 1974. Kevin Bartlett equalling the record of number of goals kicked in a grand final, and Tony Jewell, the Richmond coach, being congratulated by his team. Are the Richmond players happy?
Richmond captain Bruce Monteith.
For Bruce Monteith,
no worries about that, Bob.
He did not think he'd be playing just a few weeks ago.
Well, the Richmond selectors or the Richmond coach saw it fitting to send him on the ground before it was over so that he'd have the honour of accepting the cup and leading his team around. There he is going around the ground with the cup and showing the Richmond supporters. Every Richmond player's having a touch of that cup, and they're all taking turn because it's the proudest moment of their football lives, and most of those boys in that side. Well, the final scores, Richmond 23-21, 159 have won the grand final for 1980 to Collingwood 9-24-78.
To most, it's the greatest game on earth. But the VFL season 1981 has come to an end, and it's time to sit back and reflect. Time to remember the magnificent highlights, the achievements and the failures. It was another year of record crowds and expansions. Games were played in Sydney and Brisbane, and Victorian teams flew to Perth by light plane and to Hobart. We saw the umpire strike, the introduction of trial matches on Sundays, and South Melbourne prepare to move to Sydney. We farewell champions in Alex Jesselenko, Francis Burke and Don Scott, and marvelled as Richmond's Kevin Bartlett became the first player to reach 350 games. It was a season that saw news break on and off the field. Footscray's Kelvin Templeton became the first key forward to win the Brownlow medal in 1980, and the club had pinned its hopes for 1981 on him. With seconds to go in the Escort Championship match against Melbourne in March, he fell to the ground with a badly injured knee and was destined to miss much of the season.
It appears that I have a torn medial ligament, which will have to be corrected by surgery, which will be done tomorrow night. At this stage, it doesn't appear that there is other ligament damage, but this won't be able to be known for sure until the operation tomorrow night.
In the opening round, it was to be 1979 Premiers Carlton against the reigning Premiers Richmond on a neutral ground at VFL Park. Carlton won by 62 points and uncovered a star in the making in West Australian Peter Bozasto.
Long kick by Fitzpatrick up towards full forward. The spook is there, knocked away by Bozasto to McClure. Goal!
That was Bozasto's goal. Plenty of Richmond players there. Bozasto's got it. Goes for short kick towards McClure. And it's a goal again.
Well, that's the one Carlton needed.
Well, that was an intelligent kick. I reckon he's a sensation, this guy, Pete. I'm not kidding.
Well, a great debut, let's say that. If you can get clear of that guy, Francis Burke, you're not doing too bad.
Bennett goes with a short pass.
Essendon lost to Geelong by a kick that had a winner and another West Australian recruit, Tony Bahaja.
It could be a beautiful shot from Bahaja, and it is. Full Nagle now, right down towards the centre position. Bahaja coming across, a courageous mark by Bahaja, running the wrong way. It's Bos and Foles racing after him. There won't be a goal from it.
Off the field, the 1980 Recruit of the Year, Frank Marcazzani, stunned Fitzroy by asking for a clearance. He was to stand out for most of the season.
They haven't treated us very well over the last 6 or 7 months, and you know, I'm not going to play there again as far as I'm concerned.
In what way aren't you happy with the treatment? Has it been a personal thing?
Yeah, mostly personal, and you know, just I haven't got on down there at all the last year or so. They made certain promises last year, which to my uncle, he sort of got us down to Fitzroy last year, and they made promises to him, and which weren't kept last year. I was a bit disappointed with that as well. That didn't worry me too much because I had a fairly good year, and I thought maybe I'd do a little better this year with money-wise and that, but you know, they haven't come to the terms.
Punched away by
Essendon under new coach Kevin Sheedy won its first game for the season in a tense clash at Windy Hill against North. The Roos looked at new coach Malcolm Blight and weren't often let down.
Little short kick. Over the top, here's a chance for Malcolm Blight. Off the ground, beautiful soccer tactics, and Blight puts it through for his third.
Jump there towards the full forward position. The pack fly. A go for Malcolm Blight, a goal.
4 goals.
But he pushes it right down deep.
At Moorabbin, it was a heart-stopper, and captain coach Alex Jesselenko had put St Kilda in a good position against Geelong.
The margin, 3 points, favouring Geelong. We have just entered time on. The drop punt from coach Jesselenko. And there's not a lot of crowd noise.
Half-back flank. Cunningham! A big mark by Cunningham on half-foot. He'll play on. Oh, they're in trouble here. And there's the kick by Nettlefold. He'll land this in the square, or is it through? Big throw. Over the back. Could be a goal. Umpires paid the push, I think. What's to happen? Yep. And he's got the chance to put St Kilda in front. The drop punt. Oh, he's hooked that across his body for a behind. That could have been their chance, St Kilda.
Geelong by 2 points. At the MCG, meanwhile, Richmond had unfurled its 1980 pennant and had to hold off a stubborn fight back from the Bombers.
It's got tremendous atmosphere. And
only lost 1 knockout today. Gets it to Waitman again. Waitman in trouble. He's down. Here's a chance for a Sarah goal. A hand pass over to Waitman. 20 metres out from goal and fails to put it through for a badly needed one for the Tigers. Raines is there. Should mark. Oh, ran into his own man. Flattened, let's see who.
Wall, I think.
Is it Wall or Landing? Could be one or the other.
I think it's Wall. And a good mark there to Land. He's not paying the mark. I thought he would have paid that as a Bahajar gets it out to Terry Danaher. Scoots around his opponent, fires for the goals. A beautiful shot.
However, it's not how many free kicks you get, it's where you get them. Nagel at the right half-forward flank. Oh, Lee's bowled over. Excellent player. Who is out? He's back. Ball in the meantime is kicked through. It's a goal.
The goals. Will it bounce? It bounced the wrong way. Back towards Timpany. Gets a kick. He's put through. What a goal by Timpany.
No, it's a point.
It's a point. He's running over the umpire. He reckons it was a goal.
I do too.
What happened there? He must have touched it.
Corbett in front. Mount behind. Out of bounds. Or is it still in? No, it's still in play. Waitman, well shepherded by Cloak. You put the Tigers in front. Shoots a goal and has put it through for 4 points.
And finally, Phil Carman needed to kick this to give Essendon victory.
The Bombers could say they just about won this match. Oh, he's missed it, I think. Oh, he's missed the shot.
Towards centre half forward.
At Moorabbin in the third round, Peter Dacos of Collingwood moved to the top of the goal-kicking list with 6 goals against the Saints.
Put that one right through the centre.
Gets a bad bounce and it lets Collingwood in again as the handball goes across to Barham. He bounces his way through half forward, has a look at the goals, kicks in towards goal and puts it straight through the middle for another one. Morris, well spoiled however. Oh, Dacos is lurking, has a bounce towards half forward, can go short in towards full forward. Still going is Ricky Barham. Steady, sets up the handball towards Dacos. He's got to sit and wait for it. He's caught. Play's allowed to go on. Into the open goal goes Hanbury, and there's a steadying goal. The whistle has sounded once again.
And this was to be the longest goal for years. St Kilda's Jeff Ferring.
There's a booming torpedo kick from Ferring to full forward. Goal! What a goal!
North Melbourne agreed to switch its home match against Richmond to VFL Park. Nearly 50,000 saw the Tigers win by 29 points. The stars were Kevin Bartlett and Michael Roach.
Against him. He's skinny, he's little, and he's old, and he still kicked 3 goals.
Plenty of distance further than Dempsey thought, but he's still got his hands to the ball. Roach spins around well, racing for the ball is Henderson, and it bounces. It's a goal! If you don't mind, that was a leg break. His 4th. Well, luck's a fortune.
Top out to excite.
Melbourne rover Tony Elshaw crashed to the ground against St Kilda, and the Demons went down by 52 points.
Hit the shoulder and he's down. Does it in? The quick hand pass to Dunn. St Kilda going forward again as Jeff Dunn puts the short kick in. The bounce over the head there. Tapped by across there to Roberts, and he brings up his second. Quaswell. Satori gives a hand pass across to Thomas. He handballs it forward, goes after it again. Chance of a score coming up as the long kick from Thomas. Wonderful football.
Fitzroy captain Gary Wilson was felled by South Brownlow medalist Graham Teasdale, and the Big Swan ruckman was to earn a 5-match suspension as a result.
report book might be out too, Sandy.
There's plenty of heat down there at the moment. But there was certainly one very unnecessary action.
Left foot kick straight down the ground.
Hawthorn's Colin Robertson produced one of the outstanding individual performances of the year. A polished and perfect game against North Melbourne led to a 35-point win for the Hawks.
With Robertson again. Dempsey can't get into the flight of it. Goss there looking for the ball, can't pick it up. Robertson again. Yes, it's through. Another goal. Great play by Robertson. Scoring corridor. Ball punched away from the big pack. Here's Robertson again. Open goal, and Robertson pops it through for his second goal. He got the little kick toward Tuck. Tuck's hand pass comes in, and Robertson can hand pass again to Goss. That he does. Goss, the goals are open, and it's a goal coming up to Norby Goss. Robertson once again.
Brute strength of Essendon tough man Ron Andrews resulted in some fiery scenes when the Bombers literally took on Fitzroy. While Essendon appeared to get the best in the physical encounters, it was the superb play of Fitzroy that sent the Lions home victorious.
Free kick for being held without the ball. Or Muggervan down again. And in fact that'll go the other way, and it should be a Fitzroy free kick. Kick smothered at centre half forward, trying to burst his way through. Oh, and there was one that went in. A little short left to the ribs by Glenn Hawker.
Gosson does just that. Phil Carman from centre wing comes back about 30 yards. What a shocking kick by Carman. Finds Muggervan. Wood Sheedy. It'd almost pull him off, I think, after that. There's the ball kicked down into the forward line. Here's a chance now as Conlon lines up the goal from 35 metres out. He's swinging it back. It's through, I think. A beautiful goal by Conlon.
With the drop punt, it's
one of the crunches of the year. Teammates Terry Smith and Jimmy Jess.
Over the back for Richmond was Terry Smith. Constant runs at
but the magnificent recovery by Jess, down for the count, and then back with a great goal, and the Tigers on the way to a 28-point win over Geelong. For coach Tony DOUL, things didn't look so bright when he flew with the Victorian team to Perth in a light plane the next day.
An impressive debut for Tony DOUL in the state coaching role, and one he'll quickly want to forget. His leg-weary band of Chargers were taken by surprise after the bounce down and encountered one of the most tenacious and hard-tackling West Australian sides seen for a long time. The Big V recovered with the use of the wind, but seemed to tire towards the end of the game, perhaps a legacy of their 12-hour flight across the Nullarbor. But when we spoke to Tony DOUL today, he offered no excuses.
I mean, we had players out, so did Western Australia. I don't think there's any excuses at all. We were just beaten by a better side in the day.
Back into attack for Collingwood up there.
The first grand final preview of the year came in the 6th round, and Collingwood blitzed the previously undefeated Carlton with an inspired burst of 11 straight goals. The danger man this day was Peter Dacos with 7 superb goals.
Another one. Hand pass. Dacos. Goal. Right hand ball.
Up the centre half forward. Up the pack is Dacos, lining them up again, fires, oh, it's another goal.
Goal number 6.
Goal number 6 to Dacos, and so he should jump up there.
Bromberg's in there.
After a protracted battle, South lured VFA star Stephen Allender from Port Melbourne, and his impressive debut against St Kilda was one of the brighter notes in a fairly dull year for the Swans.
Smith now from the members' wing down towards Allender again, used his body nicely, got a hand to the ball, good hand pass to a teammate going past, excellent play by Stephen Allender. Stephen Wright it is who's lining up from a tight angle, and he's put it through for
Paul Moore, that is, as he breaks away towards centre half forward, looking there for Allender. Allender back, can he take the mark? He does, a good mark by Allender on that centre half forward area. Looking to play on quickly, and so looking to play out there looking for his captain. Over the top is Allender, takes a beautiful mark. Magnificent mark, Stephen Allender.
Position leading in the race.
For St Kilda's Simon Meehan, the lights went out when he clashed with South's Rod Carter.
Badly down. That was Rod Carter.
Footscray recorded its first win for 1981 when it defeated a disappointing Essendon by 8 points. The Bulldogs came back from a 10-point deficit at the last change, and with Dunstan, Sate and Wheeler in command, ran out victorious in a thriller.
Came underneath from Parrish.
With Bernie Quinlan running right, Fitzroy snatched the game against Richmond by a kick and moved into the 5 under new coach Robert Walls.
The tap out was successful. Quinlan will snap it goal. It looks a good shot. My word, it's a good shot. A good goal kicked by Bernie Quinlan down towards Rendell, who would be favourite here. Can't take the mark. Quinlan at the back, can't pick up cleanly. He's got it now. The left foot snap toward goal. What is it? It's close. It's a goal. Quinlan kicks his 4th goal.
The further these guys
a gawky big fellow named Leo King made his debut for the Cats in season 1981. What a game he played against Hawthorn. Some magnificent marks and 3 timely goals helped Geelong to its 4th win of the season in a low-scoring affair.
Geelong deep into attack, a beautiful kick from him, up towards full forward, there's the big guy. He's built like a beanpole, and King, 15 metres out, directly in front, has a chance to put Geelong within 4 points. Taking plenty of time, lining them up directly in front. Leo King. All 6 foot and 17 of him, fires, that's a goal. Geelong within 4 points. Horn comes back Geelong's way towards Yates. Yates high towards half forward, looking for the big guy. He's got him. And King taking about his 5th mark for the day. And they should be able to go on from there, kicking with the breeze. It'll go very close. To go. When 79,326 people jammed into VFL Park for the match between Collingwood and Essendon on May the 16th, facilities at the Giant Complex were stretched to record lengths. Essendon gave supporters a preview of the season to come with a magnificent display on the huge ground, and had a brilliant and inspiring leader in Simon Madden.
Simon Madden, they're running riot at the moment. Nagel about over centre, has all the time in the world to look up forward. The big fella Madden, oh, he taps it down beautifully from Fowler. Fowler sets up the handball. Another one, they go in towards the open goal. This is Eustace. Goal. In towards half forward. Little Bahagia giving away 2'6" there. Madden the handball to Reid. Reid steadies onto the left boot. He goes straight through the middle, and another one to Essendon. Madden is the danger man. Great leap. He's paid it. Danaher's waiting down, but he's got Folds there for support if needed. He doesn't. Has a couple of bounces over centre. The kick's beautifully smothered, but there's Essendon players everywhere. Folds, who's followed the play down, kicks long now. Madden from behind. Oh!
Collingwood's 57-point loss was to be its 1st for the season.
How many of those? The kick in towards goal. I think he's kept it off. Great play, Simon Madden.
Richmond recorded a massive 8-goal win against Footscray, but the most impressive sight was surely Mark Lee in full flight. St Kilda's Trevor Barker had a superb year, which was to be reflected in the Brownlow count, but against North, he ran into Ross Glendinning. And this was one of the goals of the year by North's Malcolm Blight. For St Kilda, though, the 17-goal loss preceded one of the stormiest weeks in the club's history, as it embarked upon a bitter campaign to keep Doug Cox. Sandy Roberts spoke to Saints president Lindsay Fox from Hawaii.
Well, Lindsay, it's now obvious that war has been declared. What's the next step to be taken by St Kilda?
Well, I've always been a great one fighting fire with fire. I have engaged 2 Queen's councils to review the situation with Richmond and try and ensure that through the courts of Australia that we can do something about retaining Cox.
Lindsay, tomorrow's match between Richmond and St Kilda is now developing into a real grand final.
Well, it's one of those situations that Richmond adopts an attitude of becoming what you classify as a pimp. I thought the people at Richmond were beyond that. Somebody to be the premiers of our great game last year, to resort to extortion approaches to try and take individuals out of a club that had a deficiency of just on $1 million. I think it's as low as you can stoop.
Cox was knocked out in the dying minutes of the game against Richmond and had to be helped from the field. It was a day that was built on pressure. Alex Jesaulenko asked Cox, who won a Supreme Court injunction last night, to lead the Saints onto VFL Park against Richmond. Earlier in the day, St Kilda fans had rallied to his assistance. More than 1,000 names were added to a petition outside the ground. A large collection was taken up as a fighting fund to help keep the Saint defender at Moorabbin. Cox had a tough day. He didn't play in his customary role at fullback. Instead, he was played on a back flank on ageing Tiger veteran Kevin Bartlett. He made mistakes in the first quarter under extreme duress, but St Kilda know what sort of a man he is and are desperate to keep him at the club.
To get back on his left boot again.
Against South Melbourne, Peter Bosustow ruled the skies, taking a succession of screamers.
Buckley again for Carlton. Screws it back towards the half-forward position. Basasto, number 2.
It's a good kick into the goal square. Oh, there's Basasto, and what a mark! That's the third. And the three of them have been sensational. Not bad for a very ordinary play. I hope Jack Dyer watches
the short pass.
And at ground level, he was equally devastating, kicking 8 goals in Carlton's 99-point landslide.
From Carroll, fires at the goals. That could be another one. In the goal square is Peter McConville, marks and puts it through. So McConville finally becoming accurate.
Looking for Mackay. Back it comes to McConville. He's out of the pack. Beautiful play as he ducks. A snap for goal. Look at this one.
Full forward position again. Carter's there for South Melbourne. Basasto, he's already kicked 7 goals. Can he make it 8? Steps for goal and has put it through. Goal number 8, Peter Basasto.
Richmond's hope slump would have lost key forward David Cloak with a knee injury.
So you'd be optimistic about coming back for the finals if Richmond do make the 5?
Yeah, well, if we make the 5, I hope to be able to play the last couple of games of the year and then play the finals.
See on the centre is
Richmond suffered a demoralising loss to Collingwood in round 10, but for Magpie skipper Peter Moore, nothing seemed to go right.
Moore and Lee. Neither can take the mark. Backing up well as Robertson. Moore's down at the moment. That's bad news for Collingwood. Kickers around towards Moore and Lee.
Hit Moore on the eye, that ball.
Oh, I think Lee might have got him on there too, on the side of the face.
Moore in front. Oh, got one on the nose again. He's had a couple of knocks today, Peter Moore. Centre of the ground, tries to get it down.
When Collingwood got down to the football side of things, though, they found a match winner in Peter Dacos. Dacos kicked 9, and the Magpies won by 49 points to push Richmond out of the 5.
It's half forward. Here goes Craig Davis racing goalwards. Long handball into the goal square on his own is Brewer and puts it through for another one to the board. There's Weirmouth. We'll look for the handball over to Dacos. Goal number 7. If he can kick it, he couldn't. He got a push in the back. Roach is down there, a real stack-up developing. Now Dacos has it again, steps for goal and has put it through. Goal number 7. Looking forward like a rugby player. Here he goes with a long handball up towards Kevin Morris in the full forward position. Morris steadies, hand pass into the goals. Brewer 2 feet out, puts it through for 4 points. Oh, Roach is there, missed the mark. Goal number 9 to Dacos. Sorry, Petty making 10. Peter Dacos, goal number 9.
Heavy ground set the scene for some of the VFL's heavyweights. When Carlton went down to the new glamour team Essendon in a fiery encounter, it was again Ronnie Andrews in the thick of things.
Go again. Here goes Andrews out of the pack. Another one goes down. Andrews is all fit and fire today. My word. In these cold conditions, that ear will be very sore, Jack. Arms couldn't quite pick up who that was. The ball comes down to Clark, who's... So it's little Bahaja. And big Fitzpatrick. Look at the size of Bahaja, and Fitzpatrick's about a foot taller than him. He's a bit frustrated with this passage of football. There's a chance for Schultz to score. He's on the left foot. The goals are open. The kick travelling. Is it through or not? The crowd says it is. In fact, that last one that was
Kerry Good kicked 9 for North as the ROOS blitzed Melbourne at VFL Park by a record 129 points. It was a particularly galling loss for the Demons coach Ron Barassi in his first season away from Arden Street.
Short stab drop, punted the ball, in fact, just straight through.
Rod Lewis waiting for the ball to be shot out. Has the
Troy went on a rampage after half-time to keep their finals hopes alive, kicking 18 goals to 3 against Footscray at the Junction Oval.
And it's a goal!
Poynton traps it beautifully. A hand pass to Parrish, 20 metres out. Parrish fires at the goals. And I think he's offline, is it? No, he's caught a beautiful hand pass over the top to Poynton. Poynton back to Manane. Manane over to Merrigan. Merrigan in the open goal for his 5th goal.
Nearly 250,000 people saw the 11th round of matches, and at Princes Park they were treated to Kerry Good at his high-flying best. While Good provided the spectacle, it was Carlton who provided the fireworks, defeating North Melbourne by 5 goals and moving back into top spot on the ladder with play like this.
Now it is a long kick at the back. Oh, nearly a mark to McCann. He said play on, it could be a goal.
It is.
Yes, a goal kicked by Basasto, I would say, or was it Mackay?
Perovic, great attempt to mark, but in comes the man of the match at the moment, Harms. Long hand pass to Perovic. Perovic over the top again to Ashman. Ashman back and turn to Francis. Great play from Carlton. Francis steadies for goal, runs in, shoots it, puts it through. Magnificent play. And Francis capping off the good work of players downfield.
Burns about to get another touch
It
by the
looked more
look.
like ringside with the wrestlers when St Kilda tangled with Fitzroy. The Saints had been stripped of their points after the Cox affair, but were back to their best against the Lions, winning by 40 points. For St Kilda, none played better than Trevor Barker.
Comes back onto the left foot, well tackled, comes up the loose ball out to Dunn. Dunn with a long hand pass. Duperuzal in position. Across the ground, and Barker up to take the mark. Can't quite take it. He's still trying to gather the ball in. Great play, Barker.
Here's the pack. There's another chance here for St Kilda through Barker. Barker into the forward pocket. A chance, yes, and a good mark taken by Hewitt. Quinlan sets himself Elphinstone in front, and Barker slipped in there to take the mark. The ball taken away by Barker, and a well-placed kick finds the half-forward flank.
Trevor Barker up high, a great mark by Barker.
Period. Herbert
Meanwhile, at the MCG, Kevin Bartlett was becoming the first player to reach 350 VFL games against Melbourne.
Second. What a snapshot that was.
Little Kevin Bartlett struggled hard for his goals against Melbourne's Peter Giles, breaking free for this goal in the first quarter and then again in the second. As has happened so often, it was Bartlett who turned the tide, this time with a brilliant 3-goal burst in the last quarter.
Well, I think three-quarter time Tony asked all the boys for a big lift because to lose today certainly would make our chances for 1981 very poor, you know, and I think everyone went out with the ambition to do something in the last quarter.
Could you feel your own personal confidence rising in the last quarter when you started kicking those goals?
Oh, yes, I think that whenever you read the pack and it comes off and you happen to kick a goal, I think it lifts your confidence and hopefully it lifts the side's confidence.
You've been asked many times as you've reached every milestone in your career, what does something like a 350th game mean to you?
Well, it means for a start that I'm still playing and that's what I want to do, is to play for as long as I possibly can, and I hope to be part of Richmond sides this year and hopefully next year.
And on the same day, Alistair Patterson saw a mammoth crowd at VFL Park for the Hawthorn-Collingwood clash.
It was a runaway record crowd at VFL Park. 92,935 fans joined today's crush, and for those who arrived after 2:15, it was too bad. The gates had to be closed. Gate takings for the day soared to nearly $215,000. It was the second highest recorded crowd at a home and away game, beaten only by the MCG with 96,000. Some angry fans who arrived at the ground and found they could not see the play demanded their money back, and it's understood money was refunded. Police say that today's crowd caused the worst traffic chaos in the ground's 12-year history. In fact, at one stage, an exit ramp from the Mulgrave Freeway had to be closed during the big choke. It's the second time Collingwood has lost at VFL Park this year, the last time against Essendon, also in front of a record crowd.
At one stage, it looked more like Ronnie Andrews versus North rather than the Bombers versus the Roos.
He'll take a free kick and it about Ronnie. Doesn't pull any punches. He lets everyone know about him.
Blight, right on his hammer. Oh, Clark shirt fronted him absolutely superbly. Good handball again. Nagel got one for his corner.
And Reeves comes out and actually hit him on the head that time.
On the head, that's right.
And the umpire said that Shaw pushed him in the back. So how lucky can you be? Now it's Terry Danaher over to Andrews. Could be goal number 3 coming up. The big fella can get rid of it. He's going for the shot now. He fires. He's put it through. What an effort he made of that.
Full forward looking for Reeves and Blight.
Oh, there was a mark and a half. Oh, Blight, what a magnificent mark. And fires for the goals. Malcolm Blight's got it. And Malcolm Blight's kicked 5 goals, going for goal number 6.
To the point of the square. Now he's off. And well off. On his full 10 metres and shoots at goal. That could be close. It is a goal. And wins it with a mammoth punch up towards full forward. Burdett to Timmy Watson. Here's a goal coming up to Watson. Fires and puts it through.
Danaher goes after it again. Back to Carey. Carey doesn't know what to do with his clear now. A snap for the goals. And he's put it through for a goal. Well, there we go. Carey coming up there to score that goal.
One on behind the play.
Round 12, Hawthorn's Lethal Lee found himself on a striking charge after this melee. He was later let off. When the Blues settled down, they played dazzling football and defeated their co-tenants at Princes Park by 39 points.
He straightens up, goes for the short pass over the top, finds McConville and a beautiful goal.
For Richmond veteran Francis Burke, it was a day of celebrations.
45 metres out from goal now, puts it on its way to another goal.
Oh, I was a bit nervous, Peter. Everyone wishing me well. It felt a little bit like my first game, actually, and Then, of course, was the worry of the actual game itself, because it would have been a terrible dampener on everything if we had been beaten. But the boys came from behind terrifically well in the last quarter, and it's really capped it off. So we're really pleased, and I'm really thrilled.
And what about that third quarter when South Melbourne got the run on and John Roberts was creating a few problems for you? How was it?
He's a good player, John Roberts, and just, as you say, for a little while there, he just got on top of me and completely beat me with good play.
After lengthy negotiations during the past few days between officials from Geelong and East Fremantle, Peake was last night leased to the Cats for the remainder of this season. After flying in from Perth, he was taken to a nearby helicopter for a rush trip to Kardinia Park, where he had a light training run with his new teammates. He told Alistair Patterson he was delighted, at long last, to be a Cat.
Feels great, and I'm certainly looking forward to said day.
Did the criticism levelled at you by Barry Cable in a recent newspaper article help you finally make up your mind, or what?
Actually, I don't read many papers. It was my own doing, and on good wishes of the club and myself, we come to an agreement that will benefit the club and myself and Geelong, hopefully.
Peake made his debut against North Melbourne and immediately repaid his first instalment.
Full points, Peake's first goal in league football. He's playing good football here, and a good shepherd. Allows Malarkey to find Terry Bright. The ball may have been out of bounds. No, it wasn't. The short pass comes from the boot of Bright. Up toward Turner. Turner has a chance. 20 metres out from goal. And another Geelong goal has come up as Turner kicks his second goal. The packing going out towards Reynoldson, who's opposed to Golding. Reynoldson picking up, walking around nicely. A shot for goal by Reynoldson is on. Would it get there or not? Yes, it has. Good goal, kicked by Reynoldson, his first kick for the day. The distance, Justin Madden.
A seesawing game at Windy Hills saw Essendon snatch their 7th victory in a row against Tony Jewell's hapless Tigers. It wasn't until 2 minutes into time on that Graham Schultz put the Bombers in front.
Certainly a lot of tall timber out here. Madden shoots at goal. Goal umpire hasn't moved. Goal here would really liven this match right up. Michael Thompson fires. That looks pretty good. Essendon are back in it.
As they go now for Watson, and look at him go. He kicks the ball high, doesn't gather much distance. Andrews comes in, flies, grabbed by Terry Danaher. He's grabbed, he straightens up, fires. As they go now, and he's got the mark, Watson. And can this fella be a match winner? A lot resting on his broad shoulders at the moment. And we're about 15 and a half minutes into this last quarter. He fires, and that's a goal, I would say. Ball hooked back there towards centre-half forward. Neil Danaher coming in for the mark. He's got it. He's been shifted down to that forward line. They're packing that forward line with their high marks at the moment. The strain on this half-back flanker as he fires. The kick is a good one. Is it coming around enough? It might be a goal. A goal! Down there with the crowd.
The coach, Kevin Sheedy, the joy of getting his side into the 5 may have been offset by this reception after the game.
He's done a marvellous job.
Carlson short. Could be dangerous.
Wayne Harms must surely get the nod for the most spectacular, if not the most painful, crash landing of 1981. And the Blues were to continue to crash. With Bernie Quinlan in command, the Lions were at their best, recording a 4-goal win and knocking the Blues from the top of the ladder.
Breaks away, has a bounce. He'll kick this long note out to the goal square. The torpedo punt. It's a mammoth kick. What a kick that was. Whoa! Great kick there by Bernie Quinlan.
Well played, Phil Malan. He has his handball partly smothered. Carlson going through strongly. Gets away. Uses his pace. Onto the left boot. He goes long. And I think it looks good.
What a
goal on the board.
Look, caught behind once again, but chipping it in front. Geez, a good player, Monet, and he plays on. He's given it to Rendell on his own in the goal square, into the open goal. Oh, he could have nearly been caught, but he's put it through.
In towards full forward. Quinlan unable to control it, but has a hurried snap. And goals. That's what they want. Brady sets up the handball to Conlon. Here goes the pace of Conlon. He steadies, shoots at goal, and puts it through. Glascott and Carlson to do battle here. Plenty of pace with these two. Look at that beautiful snare from Carlson. Gets round onto the left boot, long in towards full forward. A magnificent kick from Carlson. And if that one won't inspire Fitzroy, nothing will. In goes Conlon, he's caught. Look for the free kick. Play on is the call. Quinlan, dummies, shrugs a tackle, kicks towards goal. He made no mistake. Oh, a magnificent goal.
1979, Brownlow medalist Peter Moore had his number taken after a fiery exchange with St Kilda ruckman Jeff Saru at Victoria Park. Fortunately for the Magpies captain and key ruckman, the charge was not sustained by the VFL tribunal the following Monday night, and he was free to lead Collingwood towards the finals. Kevin Bartlett, Richmond's ageing veteran, continued on his goal-kicking way in season 1981, but occasionally things didn't go according to plan, as Jimmy Jess tried desperately to point out.
The ball could have easily got stuck between the posts. That's how cute the angle was.
And umpire Ken Quinn saying to Jim Jess, there's only one goal umpire, not you, mate.
Well, those goal umpires do a magnificent job. To get this one down, he does.
In the 14th round, the Tigers showed just too much class for the fading Kangaroos, and they had goal kickers galore.
Who flies in the middle of the pack, can't complete the mark. In comes Bartlett, more danger for the Kangaroos here. He's looked for Wiley, superb pass from Bartlett. Wiley plays on, shoots for goal from 25 metres out, and make no mistake, that's another one to Richmond. And although Wiley kicked the goal, you could almost give it to Kevin Bartlett.
A Waitman coming across his Henshaw, the little Waitman takes the mark. He doesn't wait for Henshaw to get up. And this little clever Raven moves away. He'll either have a shot or go for a pass. He's looking for Jimmy Jess. It's not a bad sort of a kick. Spencer, one over here to McCann.
For North coach Malcolm Blight, this was probably the most embarrassing moment of his football career.
I think he might have put that through for a point. He's run the wrong way. It's unbelievable. He thought that was the goals. He really still thinks it now. Look, it is unbelievable because I was dumbfounded myself.
The goal square, Bartlett's there.
The Tigers were to move back within striking distance of the 5 with a 7-goal win in the heavy conditions.
Waitman's 20 metres out. Now he'll go for a shot at goal. Gets around. No, he won't. He gives it to Martello. First goal for the Tigers to Alan Martello. Big out.
Going long.
When South played host to Fitzroy, Bernie Quinlan came close to losing his head.
Quinlan got tackled and just about had his head.
Bernie recovered, and so too did Fitzroy to win by 23 points.
Rendell can't get the kick in. A chance for a left foot by
forward. Rendell almost held that one to ground. Parrish. A right foot snap this time. He used the left last time, and he's put it straight through the middle.
15-metre penalty.
League football returned to Brisbane after 30 years, and Essendon's Roddy Andrews was promptly reported for striking Hawthorn Bertie Di Domenico. He was suspended for 4 matches.
Although conceding quite a few inches to Simon Madden.
Oh, there's one down.
And he's reported, I would say.
Ronnie Andrews dropped him like a sack of spuds. He's got him. You're gone this time, Ronnie boy.
He got DP at a
right in the mouth. Right in the mouth. I tell you what, if I was going to pick on a Hawthorn player to biff, I'd biff somebody else.
Couldn't pick it up. Thompson gets
20,000 Queenslanders saw Essendon continue its winning streak, and then saw Norm Goss reported for striking Andrews.
Oh, there's someone down. That's Andrews.
Was that the square off?
It might have been, but takes a while. The umpire's found a free kick.
Goss is gone, is he?
Yep. He's got Goss. Yes,
busy night, isn't it?
No, that's Andrews, and Goss reported here today, and Andrews gets the free kick. But I think Ronnie, even though he's rubbing his head, he's got a concrete head. It won't hurt that.
The era ended when 300-game veteran Francis Burke called it a day.
Something that has been as good to me as football has, and from that point of view, it was difficult.
Have you given thought to perhaps carrying on at all, giving support and experience to the reserve side?
Oh, not really. I suppose one of the reasons why I've decided to call it quit, Sandy, is that I didn't really fancy playing the seconds.
A little too early in the morning.
Yes, I'm not used to getting out of bed early on Saturday mornings, but I just think that I would like to stay involved in some way, shape or form, and although I will wait for the dust to settle.
Though he's clearing a spot there, trying to find the centre.
Only 48,000 people braved the rain and bitter cold to see the split round encounters. When the two big improvers of 1981 clashed, it was to be Essendon's day, with the Bombers defeating Fitzroy by 3 goals.
Fowler coming off the ground, so Serafini may be coming up too. Alexander got that one, but Watson's in the way. Watson shows a lot of strength. The hand pass to Nagel, picks it up like he normally does today. You think it was a dry day for that guy. Back to Watson. He's not handling it too badly either. Out it goes now, little Bahaja. He's going to have a running shot for goal. Let's see what he does when he's put it through. This will be about 2 minutes of time on in this quarter. Back to Bahaja. Beautiful hand pass coming over there to Thompson. Back there to Timmy Watson. Could be a goal coming up. There's no doubt about that. And that's the second goal for Bombers. Thompson. Oh, he copped Serafini right under the chin by accident that time, and down went Serafini. Got him with the shoulder. It's a good one. He's found Serafini. Looks as though he's recovered okay. Goes for a pass. It's a beautiful pass to McMahon.
By Davies. He gives the hand pass.
Hawthorn skipper Lee Matthews has been one of the most adaptable players in the game for a decade, and he revelled in the slush, kicking 3 goals in the Hawks' win over North.
Towards Robertson, but a poor hand pass, so it run past Robertson. Player slipping and sliding, it comes back to Matthews. He has a kick towards goal. Full point for
Henderson now of North Melbourne. Can't take it cleanly. It's on the turf. Dempsey picked it up like a rover, but Tuck took it away. Tuck's left foot kick out to Matthews, unopposed. Dempsey's left hip, and Matthews led well to that pass from Tuck.
Towards Fitzpatrick from
At VFL Park, Rod Ashman showed the skills that put him in the lead of most media awards with a solo performance against St Kilda.
Great play, Ashman. Ashman, dodges cleverly, lines up from 40 metres out, and he's put that one through the centre. A great goal.
Has the ball fisted away. Barker goes in strongly with Bazasto, and Barker wins out. A limping Trevor Barker too. He's forced to get the handball away. Is Trevor Barker.
The Saints, things looked dismal when star Trevor Barker had to be carried from the field.
St Kilda this year.
Jess, one-handed.
The umpires came in for their share of criticism after the Richmond-Geelong match. Jimmy Jess and Michael Roach seemed to have plenty to say.
And Jess going crooked, the umpire. And again, Gary Malarkey, maybe luckily, has come out of it with the free kick.
He goes for the mark. He's got the grab again. Now he set play on. Well, I'd go along with that. I think the big fella in front may have touched it. He's still not happy about it, and Roach still arguing with umpire Robinson. And Jess going over. He said, well, that's the second one, the one I missed out on too. So
Jess said something to umpire Robinson.
He's going back to have a chat to him.
And at the MCG, Tiger Croswell celebrated his 200th VFL game as only Brent could.
Again up towards Byrne. He gets a shocking bounce. Here's an opportunity now for Melbourne if they can set up some shepherding. An easy chance for them to go forward through Elshaw, but in the meantime the whistle has sounded and Croswell is not happy. Cost them a goal. It has cost them a goal. Forward once again through Healy. A half forward. Goes back towards half forward once again. Chance for Croswell. In towards goal. He's made no mistake this time. Make the margin 6 to Jackson. Oh, Jacko's not happy.
Well, he's silly. He might take it off him, but I hope he doesn't take it off him there because...
Trying to come out the back door with it. Gets caught. Morris goes to ground. Heavy body work as Williams cops a beauty. And here comes Jacko. Whoa! I haven't seen a man. Look at Jacko.
Oh, here he comes.
Just over 42,000 people saw Essendon continue to dominate the competition and beat Carlton in the final of the $450,000 Escort Championships under lights at VFL Park.
Wilson turned to Folds. Folds from right half forward flank has a flying shot up towards full forward. Bandahar and Madden fly. Snapshot for goal. I watch it. Goal. Folds, one of Essendon's best. Long kick from Folds. Hawker on the run. Over towards Danaher. He can go from there, and he's done it.
As captain, I'm very thrilled.
And it was a very proud Simon Madden who accepted the cup.
It's been a very big team effort. Tonight we had the 20 players on the field, but also goes to the 16 players who have played in the Escort Cups and did not represent us tonight. Also to the coach, Kevin Sheedy, who's put in a lot of work.
When Collingwood met Carlton the second time around, there was to be only one kick in it. And again, the Magpies were triumphant, but only by a solitary point.
He's almost caught. Now he goes
Peter Dacos kicked 3 goals in 4 minutes and set the stage for a couple of the disputed marks of the season.
Collingwood lead by 4 points. 3 goals in 4 minutes. Shoots at goal. Long kick in towards the goal square. Off target. Mark to Davis. Or is it a behind?
He's playing the back.
That's an interesting one.
I think he must be over the fence.
I thought so too. That might be over the boundary line. We'll wait and see. Or is it a point? It's a point, I think. It's a point. So that makes the difference now 2 points in favour of the Magpies.
Kick up toward
After a gloomy winter, the sun came out. And so too did Michael Roach with a 9-goal bag and a power of marks against Hawthorn.
Picked up by Jimmy Jess in his 100th performance. Given to Roach and it's through. It's a goal. A few moments ago. High kick from Waitman. Roach. Beautiful mark over the top.
Melbourne Moors there, so was Roach. Roach goes into the open goal. It's a goal. Kicked by Michael Roach. Yes, Richmond back in front. Could be 8 straight. Roach. Look at that. Well, this will be a goal. Not a bad mark. Oh, what a ripper.
Geelong's Peter Featherby gathered 43 kicks against Melbourne in one of the outstanding individual performances of the season. Unfortunately, Geelong's kicking saw the Cats finish with 22 goals, 35 behinds, but still be victorious by 88 points.
Not Bruns, though, going past nicely. Featherby lines up 15 metres out, and there is goal number 3.
Hand passes over to Featherby again. Featherby goes for a bit of a run. And he's had the ball on a string today, lining up the goals from about 35 metres out. But
will win out. That's Jeffries. Jeffries spears the ball further afield. Featherby lines up. That's pretty close, and Featherby, he can amend that. He now has kicked 4 goals like his winger Whitcomb. Neil's kicked a goal, lines up with the left boot.
On the eve of the 17th round, North Melbourne coach Malcolm Blight made this announcement.
The simple fact is that I'm convinced, absolutely convinced, that the day of the playing coach in the VFL is over.
Blight will continue as a player at North and admitted he'd had difficulties combining his playing and coaching roles.
I guess if you look yourself in the mirror and say, on the scoreboard, as a coach for 16 games, you know, I've been a failure. And that hurts. I mean, that hurts deep down, but, you know, it's always said that the club's bigger than the individual, and, you know, I made the decision on my own, and so, you know, I stand by that, just hopefully now that we can get back on the right grill.
Barry Cable met the North Committee for 2 hours this morning before accepting the position, and his first priority will be to work out what has gone wrong with the ROOS.
Well, at the moment I've been contracted to coach the North Melbourne Football Club, and so as from now I'm coach of the club.
With the burden of coaching lifted, Blight responded with a club record 11 goals against Footscray.
Blight, he snaps at the goals. Is it true? Yes, by Hodgman towards Blight. Can he trap it? Goes in after it, still got it. Blight runs around into the open goal, fires it back at the goals. Is it true? It is. For Spencer as he gives it out to his teammate there in Reeves. Over to Blight, a chance for Blight. He snaps around, he hooks at the goals. Is it true? Yes.
Still possession, a chip now to Blight. He's kicked 6. Here's number 7. No mistake about it. The opportunity now for 11.
Well, someone said in the paper, will he do an Ian both? And well, he has certainly done that.
Yes, no question of that. There's the drop punt. Looks pretty good off the boot. Straight through the middle, 11 goals to Malcolm Blight.
Richmond's hopes of making the finals received a severe setback when again it lost to Fitzroy. And again, it was a close finish. Just 1 point.
Jess takes the ball right half forward, puts it high for Roach. Oh, look at this. It's a goal! What a goal!
One of the most miraculous goals I've seen for many, many years, Peter.
Unbelievable goal.
Pass over to Conlon. He was a beautiful player for 2 quarters, and a pass over to Bernie Quinlan. And super boot over there to Randall. It's a goal for sure. Good play by Bernie Quinlan. Smith going, and he's grabbed by Bartlett. Umpire said, well, it's a holding the man. And look at those Tiger fans go crook. And Bartlett demonstrating there with the umpire. They're not calling it too sweet at the moment, the reigning champs.
I think the free kick was there. Serafini at centre field. Handball over the top to McMahon. Can he make it another one for the Lions? He's done it. The goal umpire's been flattened. Did he see it? Yes, a goal. 5 goals to David McMahon.
I tell you what, if he'd have put up a point there, they'd have slaughtered it. Conville, a hand pass.
The first Saturday in August saw Carlton and Geelong battling cold, blustery weather at Princes Park. The Blues had recruited well, and they signed Sandgropers Peter Bazzasto and Ken Hunter, and again the West Australian pair repaid Carlton's faith.
Malaki goes for the hand pass. Oh, this is dangerous. Here's a go now for McConville. He'll have to fall over to miss this. Goal. What a bad mistake on the part of Malaki that time. And a bad fumble by Ian Nankervis. Centre field. Oh, taken away from Bright beautifully by Hunter. A long kick. Bruce Nankervis, a long kick up there. Hunter, what a great mark.
Hunter, one of the best on the ground. Look at that for a mark.
What a magnificent mark. It goes. Oh, look at that Hunter. What a mark. That's 3 he's taken distance. Oh, there's a beautiful mark there to Hunter.
Haven't been into attack yet this quarter. Wells has kicked sailing goalwards into... Oh, look at Bazzasto! Mark of the year!
What a beauty.
What a great mark that was. And very close to mark of the year. He's soared above the pack. Oh, goodness me.
Blake goes for the punch. It hits the deck. Bazzasto again. This could be a goal coming up. He's put it through for a goal. Goal number 3, and look at him. He's saying, I'm the champ, I'm the greatest. And by golly, believe you me, he'll say it to you too.
Down by Lewis, a
The
chance
fight for fifth spot revolved around 3 teams, with Richmond, Hawthorn and Fitzroy vying for 1 finals berth. Fitzroy moved back into the 5 on August the 1st with a gutsy last quarter fight back against the wind, beating the Hawks by 2 goals.
Pack up. O'Halloran got the punch down. It was a charge from McMahon. A hand pass from Quinlan missed McMahon. Picked up by Poynton. This will be a good shot if he gets it. I tell you what. That's a goal.
One of the ugliest scenes of the year erupted at the MCG when South Melbourne and Melbourne met head-on. Both Brent Croswell and South's David Rhys-Jones were to receive 4-week suspensions after being found guilty on striking charges. South officials lodged a complaint with the VFL reporting Melbourne runner Peter Smith for misconduct after an incident allegedly involving Rhys-Jones, but the matter was subsequently dropped. The next day, August the 2nd, Sunday football came to Melbourne when Collingwood and Essendon met before 64,000 people. Stephen Phillips made this report for 7 National News.
VFL President Dr. Alan Arnold was ecstatic with the results of today's match.
Well, undoubtedly it's a huge success, Stephen, yes. Very, very satisfying, and it showed that all of the efforts and endeavours over the last 3 or 4 years has certainly proven to be worthwhile.
Looking around the ground, the most pleasing aspect would surely be the picnic-type atmosphere.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I was just in the last 10 minutes watching the crowd in the outer, and the number of younger children and that are with their parents in the outer, and the orderly manner in which the crowd is reacting to the game is just a real plus.
The crux of the dispute is it's not more money, it's not conditions, it's not Harry Beitzel. The crux of the matter is that the umpires want to have their association negotiate on their behalf. That is a trade union type of situation.
And who does? Andrew, what's the situation with this breach of contract question?
Well, the situation is that the league have advised each and every umpire per phone, that is Jack Hamilton and other members of the office staff, have contacted him on the phone, each umpire on the phone, and said that they consider that they're in breach of contract. And for instance, Jim Chapman was singled out as one who would definitely be sued by the VFL.
Could you see it escalating?
Oh, I think there's every possibility of that. The VFL will be left without any umpires whatsoever.
Well, the senior umpires spent the day discussing legal tactics. Replacements had to be found. In the match between Collingwood and North, the umpires were 20-year-olds Mike Snedden and Paul Saville.
Waiting for the ball to come down.
So 12 young rookie umpires took on the responsibilities of a vital VFL round. At Victoria Park, Malcolm Black continued to find the goals, but to no avail. Collingwood's headlong charge at the top position on the ladder continued.
I think it's through. It's a goal to Collingwood. Glendenning puts the ball down. Good piece of roving by Ray Shaw. Goes towards goal. It bounces truly. Lovely goal off forward zone. Well, Barra missed an easy one. Took his eye off it, I thought. Kink came through, trying to show a little bit of strength. The kick by Barham along the ground. Bounces over the head of everybody. And through for a Collingwood goal. Well, that was a real bounce of that one. Barham kicks his second goal. And the scores tighten up. A player like Williams, if you try as hard as that, these conditions, certainly the flashiness goes out of the game, and there's no flashiness about Williams. As Ray Shaw, after taking it from Peter Moore, got the ball across now. A beautiful kick from Graham Allen. Might be touched on the line or not. It's full points. A great goal to Collingwood's Graham Allen.
For Richmond, the hardest thing about the game at Moorabbin was getting onto the ground.
Good kick, almost to the square. Folletic can't control it. Picked up by Barker. A snap by Barker. He's put it through. Oh, what a miraculous goal.
Grant Thomas, in fact, it doesn't favour him in the end. Here's a chance for Sarah. A hand pass over the top to Bartlett. The bounce favours him into the open goal. Goes Bartlett. It's a goal to the Tigers.
A half half-forward line over the head
In
of
one of the
Jess.
controversial incidents of 1981, Jim Jess downed St Kilda's Peter Brown. Jess wasn't reported by the umpires, but the Saints did lodge a report with the VFL. Jess was exonerated.
He has played a great game at fullback. Away. Play on.
Match ended sensationally when Paul Serra was awarded a free kick right on the final zone.
Will fire for goal from about 25 metres out, 45-degree angle. The scores are dead set level. And is that the siren? The siren is sounded. The pressure is on Paul Serra. All he has to do is score a point to win the game for the Tigers, and the crowd are out on the ground. All he needs is was solitary behind. He kicks. He's put it through. A goal to Paul Serra in the goal. Jeffrey's behind.
In the 19th round, Fitzroy suffered a final setback when they lost to Geelong. The Lions couldn't cover Paul Jeffries, who kicked 4 of the Cats' 11 goals, and they slipped from the 5. Many judges expected that to be the last of Robert Wolseley's ball.
Runs into the open goal, fires and puts it through for his first goal.
Drops the ball, but the umpire called play on as Ian Nankervis goes for a pass to Neil and found him. Neil known on the mark, plays on a left foot snap for goal. Oh, it bounces the wrong way. It could be a goal here for Jeffries. He has got it, yes, goal number 4. Over to Marquezan, another one back to Buckley.
After 14 wins in succession, it seemed that Kevin Sheedy's dream run had come to an end against Carlton in round 20. With less than 10 minutes to go, Essendon trailed by more than 4 goals.
And is going to take plenty of time.
A wasting time decision went against Mike Fitzpatrick, and a complete transformation then took place.
He's taking it off, he's for wasting time.
Well, you can do that, yes. Plenty of Carlton defenders there. Oh, there's not a
Match winner for the Bombers in time on was the versatile Neil Danaher.
If he kicks this, you can see the goals there on the screen. He puts this through, it's only 5 points the difference. So it's 5 points the difference. Never runs the ball. Taps it on, he's got it. And the Bombers back into attack again. Up she goes to Danaher. He's got it. Oh, the Bomber crowd are going mad. It could be the dress rehearsal for the grand final of 1981 as Neil Danaher comes in for the kick that could possibly win the game. And he's put it through and the Bombers have hit the front.
He's normally a good kick.
Richmond's kicking and a little bit of luck went against the Tigers when they met Collingwood.
This one's up very high. Will it carry? No, not quite. Or did it? The umpires confer. What is it? What is it? Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. Big conflap going on. It is a mark to Stewart right on the goal line. So Richmond were that close to a goal there, but it's been taken away from them now.
And he Shaw's high kick over the shoulder. Kink coming across, a beautiful mark to Kink. Rene Kink in front. If he kicks a goal, 5 points it'll be. And if he kicks 1 point, scores will be level.
Rene Kink with Collingwood's future in his boot, present. I say future, I'm talking their place in the 5. It's through. Collingwood in front by 5 points. This boundary throw-in. Been punched out by Range. There's a chance now.
In the end, it was Terry Smith running into goal to win the match for Richmond and producing the miss of the year.
Rangers saying, what are you doing?
And a great tribute to Don Scott of Hawthorn. A long, hard road for this giant ruckman, but 300 games, and he's been a bit of an enigma around the club, Peter, but a magnificent performance. He has time to pick it up and kick.
And the big fellow celebrated by being part of a winning side against St Kilda at VFL Park.
Scott,
it was a win to push the Hawks back into the 5.
Kennedy. A hurried kick in towards full forward, fisted away from Davies. Heavy body work as Wallace picks it up. Good work by Ablett. The kick by Wallace is good.
I am considering.
On World of Sport the next day, South coach and Triple Bradley medalist Ian Stewart made this announcement.
I've coached South for 5 years, and most coaches at some stage have nothing or run their race as far as output goes, and there is a possibility that I have ran my race as a coach. As I said, I've coached for 5 years and only coached for so long.
Ian, is your decision influenced by the current internal bickering at South and the possible move to Sydney?
Now, I've been a strong advocate for the move to Sydney because without that, South has no chance whatsoever. No, that has nothing to do with it. I support the present board and administration 100%, which I've said publicly before now.
So, Ian, is that the end of a distinguished VFL career? Any further ambitions to coach?
At this stage, no, when I say at this stage, no, Peter. As I said, I think that my contribution to football as a coach, is sort of fast coming to an end.
A massive win by Collingwood over Hawthorn had left the Magpies on top of the ladder after round 21. It was a 73-point victory, and premiership talk was all the rage at Victoria Park.
And that was a magnificent kick, and the Magpies in front. KINK has a bit of fancy footwork, runs into trouble, a hand pass out wide to Stan Magro.
Knights and KINK. KINK's an improved player this week. Really finding form at the right end of the season. Look at the Hulk go. What a percentage player he is.
To quarter time. Rene KINK, and there's a beautiful mark over the top of Knights. He's played a great second half, this bloke. Drops the ball short, and a beautiful pass there to Wilson. He's across. They all miss. There's a go for Rene KINK, running to an open goal. He won't miss this. Takes his time. And another goal to Collingwood, and goal number 2 to KINK. Taps it on out there towards Banks. Down goes Knights. He got one right in the face from Banks. Well, we see Knights still down.
Got there in time. It was
While Collingwood was on the rampage, Carlton didn't look quite that impressive, yet still managed to beat North by 22 points out at VFL Park.
Zusto on top, trying for a fall. I don't know whether he's going to get it or not. To BRIEDIS, who got a quick hand pass in. Two North Melbourne players collide.
Looking for Kerry Good. But it can't take the mark. Could get the boots. We couldn't do that either. McClure would take it fine, force it through. Shovelbush. The umpire said no. DOUL must have had his hand on the ball when it was kicked. Oh, gee, that was close. Very close indeed.
Harms leads in the race for the ball, taps it towards goal. Great play by Harms. A piece of soccer play by Bassasto comes around. Wonderful goal, Peter Bassasto. Soccer at its best. You don't see any better than that, Jack Edwards.
You don't normally see soccer played at VFL Park either. Take the mark. Nobody. It's been tapped through for one behind, I think. Reed's got the boot to it, or did he? The second one North Melbourne have tried 4 off the ground, and the second time they've been disappointed. And that looked pretty close.
At the moment, knocked down by Martello.
The following week, Carlton ended Richmond's finals hopes. The Tigers had won the flag in 1980 and would have slumped to 7th place this season.
It's a goal. As it goes out towards Bassasto, who kicked 2 goals in the first term. Chased by Wiley, goes to Sheldon. Oh, Sheldon over in the practice wicket area. Now he gets his kick in, albeit a high one, down towards full forward, looking for Mackay, couldn't take it. Here's a chance for a Carlton goal. Snapshot by Johnson is okay, and he's put it through for 4 points.
Coming in to help him now is Mark Goo. A beautiful pick-up, a running shot for goal. It's not bad, it's a goal.
Great goal.
Great goal that time by Mark Goo. Again, and there'll be a throw-in.
Bassasto hit his head right on the point post.
And if there was a personality in VFL football this year, it had to be that wooden spoon whacker, Jacko. This cameo performance typified Mark Jackson's game against Kelvin Moore of Hawthorn.
That's it, Jacko. Pass on the message. What a character. What a character. He's a one-man band down there.
Goodness.
Oh, dear. He is a one-man show down there. He's as happy as Larry. Kicked his first goal, and he has told about 15,000 people in no uncertain manner. Oh, dear. Lines up the drop punt. That's close. Oh! Jacko knocked the goal umpire down.
Essendon's run of wins came to a halt in the slush at VFL Park. After 15 straight victories, it was Geelong who finally stopped the Bombers.
Touched! Well, not a goal. From Schultz, Mossop first on the scene. Gathers it well. Pop one a little high for Bright. Oh, held it too long. He had the chance for a hand pass too, Jack.
It's got the ball to boot very quickly, and it's been pushed through. Oh, has it? Oh, that's bad football. That's bad football. That's a goal. His second goal.
Towards half forward, McMahon can't.
Fitzroy had made the finals in 1960, 1979, and now with this impressive 26-point win over the Magpies at Victoria Park, had made it 3 times in 21 years, and they did it in style.
Dangerous in front of goal. A snap. A great snap by Bernie. He's done it.
He kicks down, looking for Poynton. Poynton, good play, Poynton. Oh, into the open goal goes Poynton. He fires, and I think he's put it through.
In towards Lewis. The big fella picks it up beautifully. Goes goalwards. Who's he got? Conlon into the open goal. Goal! Great play, Fitzroy. And Collingwood.
And one of the mainstays of the Fitzroy win was former captain Ronnie Alexander.
To rely on anybody else getting beaten to get into the 5. We've done it on our own backs. And if you can beat Collingwood at Collingwood... In the mud. We're supposed to be a dry weather side. They're supposed to be the wet weather side. Keeping in mind it's the first time this year that Collingwood's been beaten here. I think if we can beat them here, we can certainly do well in the finals.
Collingwood out here has been like a grand final for you this week, but nearly every match over the past month or so has been a grand final for Fitzroy.
I think it's 9 out of 11 we've won now, and we could afford to drop one in about 7 it was, and we dropped that one to Geelong, and everyone, as you say, has been a final, and we've lived up to the pressure pretty well.
Well, you go into the elimination final next week, a winning side, Essendon a losing side.
Well, that's right. We know what we can do. You've seen how we can play, and we intend to play like that next week.
These were the classical marks of 1981. Essendon and Fitzroy were the big improvers of 1981, and it seemed only fitting that they should make the finals. The elimination final at VFL Park looked to be cutthroat in more ways than one.
He's having the bounce. 3 of them, in fact. Nobody tackling him back. Well sharked by Taylor, doing a great job in defence down there. Oh, superb spin out. Over towards Carson will go for the handball to Herbert. Here's danger for Essendon. Herbert straightens up and fires at goal. It's a long shot. Going close. To Schultz. Here's a chance for the Bombers. Schultz racing goalwards. Won't be picked up by Taylor. Fires at goals. They'll put it through. Great goal.
A hand pass right across the face of goal. Ronnie Alexander wouldn't touch it. He took it the safe way out that time and tapped it through for a point.
The hospital hand pass. Troy goal. If it bounces okay, it does. The hand pass into the goal square to Alexander from Parrish, and he puts it through for 4 points. Players, there's no free kick. Folds at right half forward, pursued by Clayton, but he's got more speed than the Fitzroy player. A long shot at goal. Look at that one. The Bombers are coming back. It's another goal.
Tapped it out. Still juggles the ball. Pushed out by Crow. Intercepted by Laurie. Taken off his boot. That time by Hurd. Running to an open goal. This could look dangerous, or it could be dangerous. And it's a goal, and the Bombers are back in business. In comes Bernie Quinlan. He can't pick it up. Rendell gives the hand pass over to Parrish. A long hand pass to Wilson. He can't miss this. It's a goal to Fitzroy.
Andrews trying to play the ball in front. Gets it cleverly to Hurd. Hurd snaps at goal. Into the goal square. It goes through.
Conlon going to run into trouble. Gets a hand pass over to Wilson. Wilson's clear. It's a left foot snap for goal. He's put it through. And Fitzroy in front again. That's goal number 2 to Wilson. The score.
And coming through is Yates.
At the MCG, Geelong's John Mossop and Stephen Reynoldsson turned on a power pack display of high marking as the Cats turned a huge deficit against Collingwood into a formidable win.
Good mark behind it, the man on the mark, Billy Picken, and Reynoldsson would be a bit nervous, I would think. And the umpire said he's got it.
At the present moment, 66 goals from a half-forward line, a wonderful effort, and so too is that. A great mark by
15
Stephen
metres
Reynoldsson.
too. He didn't want it though. He kept going up toward the half-forward zone. Mossop at the back is a good mark. Now Mossop is out 60-odd metres. and putting the ball into the forward pocket. He kicks it very high. Moore set himself and Mossop over the top. That was a good mark. Wowee.
Now getting ready to come on again on interchange bench.
Mossop can put Geelong within 1 goal of Collingwood. He has. Right through the centre.
A high kick. Atkin in the front position. Mossop from behind. Oh, again, another good mark from Mossop. He's reading that beautifully down there.
Mossop. Missed it, I think. No, he got it. Does, putting it up high. Oh, look at that. Look at that for a good grab. John Mossop. Oh, they'll make him mayor of Geelong tonight.
Taps it forward again. Jeffries does likewise. Wonderful play as it comes to Featherby. Featherby going for the pass. Beautiful pass. Hits the right on the chest. He should get the ball moving in a hurry with Mossop in such great form. Reynoldsson at the back. A lovely mark by Reynoldsson.
You'll see a lot more of this young player too in years to come. Reynoldsson has had 2 kicks for the game. Reynoldsson has had a lot more. He's got another goal for Geelong. Blake from half back, unbalanced, went for a short pass in toward the centre. And it's coming forward now. Jack Hawkins in toward the forward zone at the back of the Packers. Mossop, can he get the boot to it? Yes, another goal to Mossop. His 6th goal. I think the Cats will get their fur up.
Long kick forward. It's off the hands of the pack. Grun's roving well. Has time to steady. He's being told there that he's steady and drive the long kick down. Naturally, of course, looking for Mossop at the back. Too tall for Peter McCormack. Mossop over the top.
We will certainly...
After Terry Bright was felled behind play, President John Holt wanted VFL action.
Will you be looking at replays of the incident?
Well, no doubt that as the weekend goes on, we'll give it full consideration of what, if and any action we take.
And what's the injury involved?
Well, you know, I think you can see that if you just have a look at Terry's face. And, you know, I think it's obviously been caused by a fairly vicious whack.
Will the club be meeting first thing in the morning about this?
We'll be meeting tonight about it, 7.
The injury to Terry Bright, is he likely to be out next week?
Well, looking at him tonight, I would say he's certainly likely to be out, and to get the injury the way he did was certainly not football in my estimation, and I suppose I shouldn't say much more than that, but certainly was, you know, looked to me to be a king hit from behind, and just about anyone can do that.
Comes up toward Pickett.
Collingwood should have had the first semi-final sewn up. Then the Magpies lost their advantage. And at one of the most thrilling matches of the year, the men from Victoria Park snatched the game in the time-on period with 2 goals to win by a point.
That is a great goal for Peter Moore. He sets himself. The ball comes to turf. A chance for Dacos at the back. The left foot snap. No, he's got back to his right foot. Balks the opposition. Comes back onto his left foot. Has a shot for goal. And that's a great goal. Good goal to Peter Dacos. Collingwood looking very good. The punch from the pack. Smith put it down again. Could favour Collingwood here. Yes, picked up by Craig Davis. He tries to get a shot toward goal. It's going through, I would think. Yes, the Collingwood fans say that's a goal for Craig Davis. A nice piece of work from the centre bounce. Atkin got it down, and Davis did the rest. This is the target. He tapped the ball on. Didn't try and take it. Barham is the recipient. Barham on the left foot going goalward. That's a beautiful goal. It's off the side of the boot. It's over the boundary line, I'm sure, before it was marked by McMahon. Oh, the umpires haven't paid it. Well, he's got a difficult shot, but let's say it might be a bonus. He's going to try and kick the ball around the corner. Is it a good goal or not? Yes.
It's the ball on. Picked up by Parrish. A quick hand pass to McMahon, who fumbled it. Has time to straighten up and put the ball through. So McMahon's kicked 2 goals in a brief matter of moments. And pass went straight to Kink. Brewer comes out for Collingwood, gives it on to Ray Shaw. A chance of a goal coming up as if Shaw can kick truly, and that's exactly what he does.
Parrish has a chance to pick up. Got through all right. Benane can't get out of trouble. He does now. Hooks it around. It's a goal. It's a goal to Fitzroy. Look at within 15 metres of goal. It's on the turf. It's a shot for goal.
McMahon, a beautiful kick. Rode perfectly. Grabbing it out of the pack is Lewis. Lewis now gives a hand pass across to McMahon. Another goal coming up as McMahon goes forward. His 4th. Taylor, not a good hand pass. Knocked out of the way by Manane, but snapped up there by Craig Davis. He shows a good turn of speed. Then steadies. Will have another bounce. Craig Davis really backing himself out. Good football by Davis as he puts the long kick towards centre half forward. Renee kick out position on that occasion. Snapped up by Dacos. He goes towards goal. It's a beautiful kick by Dacos, and the margin now only 2 points. Indell almost took the mark. It's called play on as Quinlan swoops on the ball. Goes towards goal. And there's another one from Quinlan, his second, and Fitzroy back in front again. Gets a hand pass out towards Lewis. Who steadies, gives it across now. A chance of a goal as Laurie puts it forward. It's right through the centre. Great play. It's a beautiful kick from Davis right up to the goal square. Players fly high. It's grabbed up over the shoulder. Collingwood have hit the front. A beautiful goal by Ross Brewer. A great goal, in fact. And it may be the match winner as Brewer kicks his third goal.
Carlton had emerged as premiership favourites, and after beating Geelong this day in the second semi-final at VFL Park, moved into the grand final for the second time in 3 years.
And has put it through. What an amazing goal. And you wouldn't see a better goal than that. Making position was Blake, one-handed. It comes down to Hunter. Hunter breaks clear, shoots at goal. Score coming up for Carlton, and it's full points. Hunter bringing up his first goal.
In goes Bazzasto, good play out to Glasgow. He's running to an open goal, fires, and Carlton have got a goal. That's Glasgow's first. Punched away again as the ball hits the deck. There's Sheldon. He and Peake have had a great battle. Down there towards Mark Q and his own. It could go through for a goal. Yes, it does. What a goal. That's goal number 2 to Sheldon. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Could be a free kick. Now the umpire says play. It's 2-2. He goes over. Nankervis gets it out. Snap for goal by Johnson. It's a goal. That's goal number 2.
Pick that one actually down towards full forward. Oh, Johnson got a mile in the air. Goes to Jeffries. Jeffries into the goal square. Reynoldsson has put it through for Geelong's first goal.
It's it off the ground towards Johnson. What a beautiful bit of play. A hand pass to Wells. Another one to Harms. A goal coming up, I would say, right through the middle.
Harms' second goal.
And the Magpies swinging back into attack, and there's Barham getting in front of Whitcomb. Takes
The preliminary final was a low-standard game, but even the best judges were surprised that Geelong, with its class and pace, could be beaten by Collingwood.
Against King, oh, what a silly bit of play.
He ironed out Bruns superbly.
Hit him with the shoulder.
Pickin. Oh, a wrestle. And Pickin is in a little bit of bother down there, but the mark is taken by Yates. Was it 10 metres? Oh!
And the big fella, will he go for a run? He balks. Oh, he got one right across the face that time. The umpire called play on as Whitcomb drives the ball up there towards the full forward zone. There's a go for Dacos. Fires. It's a goal. And the ball finally picked up by Neil. Beautifully gathered in by Whitcomb. Over to Bruns. There's a chance for a Geelong score. A long shot looking there, but it's too long for Mossop, and it's through for a goal.
Taylor does. Zane Taylor, who had a good first term here at VFL Park, clears it back towards centre field. Geelong are alight now. Bruns picks up the ball. Bruns in short towards half forward. Reynoldson's there. Nobody's with him. Up it bounces into his arms. Into the goals. Mossop, full points. Goes for the long boot up towards full forward. A chance for Dacos. Snaps it goal and has put it through. And the chance is for Renee Kink, close to the boundary line. Kink gets it in front of Yates, nearly runs out of bounds. Long kick in towards the goals. What a mammoth kick!
Golly, what a goal!
He's done it. And a great goal from Kink.
The muscle, I would say, a goal coming up to Lund. He's only got to pick it up and get around his opponent. He does a goal. So it's goal number 3, and the Cats are in front again.
Up towards full forward at the back is Mossop, but he has it knocked away. Here's a chance for a goal coming in. Is Jeffries couldn't do it? No! It is a goal. Oh, interesting. Thought it might have been over the line, but the umpire says it's a goal.
Tell you what, that was that close, Peter. On for a pass to Mark to Jeffries out there. Is Cooper going to have a go at him? Oh, they go in very hard, Cooper and Jeffries, but Cooper went after him. Neil as he drives the ball up there, but there's the mark again to Cooper. And he's standing up like the Rock of Gibraltar.
Cooper's there for Collingwood. By gee, what a nail-biting finish. After Williams got on top in the third, underneath is Cooper. Jaws does it again.
What a game it is. Knocked out there by Blake. Kink fumbles, has a snapshot for goal. He's put it through for another amazing goal.
Irwin now taking the free and looking out there for Dacos, who's got the mark in front of Ian Nankervis. He's played on. Nankervis is with him. Dacos with the ball. Lost it and regained it. Shoots it goal and has put it through. Collingwood hit the lead. 4 goals to Dacos. At Davis with the chance. Malarkey goes in there. So does Hawkins. Out comes Davis again. Can he go and make it 7 points the difference? He has. 7 points the difference, and the crowd at VFL Park has gone wild.
On behalf of the Victorian Football League, I formally announce the winners of the 1981 Brownlow Medal. And it just does so happen that I have two Brownlow medals with me tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, there are quite a few others down below as well. But anyhow, we do have two with us, and I now, on behalf of the League, officially present, firstly, to Bernie Quinlan, the 1981 Brownlow Medal. And to Barry Round, again, the 1981 Brownlow Medal.
Well, you couldn't get closer than a dead heat for the Brownlow Medal or a more fiercely contested final series than we were treated to in 1981. Today was the one day of the year. It was billed as the classic confrontation of football superpowers, and what better way to end our review of the season than like this.
Barham traps it well. At the Stewart in turn to Tony Shaw. The Magpies are alight. Here's Dacos. Snap for goal coming up. It's on target. Look at that for a goal.
Goes after the ball again. In goes Dacos. Oh, beautiful play by Harms. He takes it away from the pack. He's breaking clear. Over to centre half forward. Got a running shot for goal. This will be a long one. It's a beautiful goal by Wayne Harms.
Great goal. Long towards half forward. Mackay flies. Ashman scouts well. 12 metres out and goals. Carlton hit the front.
That's the moment everybody waits for.